Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Tarda Zone Talks. We are here to discuss Rose, Ayling, Ellis. Last night, I put up a video. The Mirror has confirmed that, they've confirmed the rumours that I spoke about 3 months ago. But just before we get on all of that, just a few things just to mention. So, as you know, I did a stream there the other day about someone who decided that they were going to call me out for doing a stream. And then they went and told all their supporters that during this stream I was bullying them, but they had actually indicated that they hadn't watched the stream. Well, I've got some news on that. Because it seems like, as I always say, I know what I'm doing on YouTube. I never crossed the line. And it's being confirmed because that particular stream was limited originally. So I asked for a manual review. Now, if I was toxic, just like this person was trying to accuse me of, and attacking this person, well, when it got a human review, it would have been taken down if that's the case, right? But for you, and as to everybody else that you got to report me stream, unfortunately, you failed yet again. And this is not me bragging. Listen, I know what I'm doing on YouTube. I know what flies and what doesn't fly. Okay, and if you're going to go on Twitter and accuse people go on Twitter and say that someone is bullying and harassing you without any evidence, then you're going to kind of look stupid. So just to put this up, just to show everybody. So here's the thing. The video is fine. I didn't break any YouTube rules. So there you go. Your video is suitable for all advertisers. Billy Who calls me out for defending Noel Clark. My response. Great news. After manual reviewing your video, we've determined that it is suitable for all advertisers. So take that in your pipe and smoke it. I do not bully or harass people out there. I never have. The problem with you guys is you don't like being called out. So what you do is you say, "Oh, Tarda Zone is bullying me. Tarda Zone's bullying me. Go and report these videos. He's bullying me. Oh, he said some bad things. He called me out, so he's a bully." So, as usual, as I said, I'm very careful about what I do on YouTube. I know exactly what I can get away with and what I can't get away with, because unlike some other YouTubers out there, I actually do read the terms and conditions, because it is important that you do read the terms and conditions. A lot of YouTubers out there complain, "Oh, YouTube took down my video because I said this word." Yeah, read the terms and conditions and it'll tell you what you can and can't say, okay? And you have to be clever about this. If you can't use a certain word, then you use an alternative word for that word that you want to use, but you won't. And then you complain when your videos are taken down and start crying. "Oh, YouTube's picking on me." I'm not picking on you. Be clever. Be like me. Anyway, also, another thing that I want to address, because there's been, over the last few years, as you know, I've been getting a lot of stick in this fandom when it comes to talking about source information, right? And a lot of people out there have accused me of lying, right? Saying that I don't have sources and I haven't been getting source information, right? Well, today I'm going to show you something, because last night a miracle happened. A miracle happened. I was going through the Doctor Who official on Facebook, and I came across something very interesting from 2 years ago. And I thought to myself, I can't believe this is here, because I'd forgotten that I put it up on the Doctor Who official. So I've been called out, as you know, for not having any source information. People are saying that I'm lying, this, that, and the other. And it even went as far as someone on the other side, Mr. T, accused me of putting out lies, right? Well, I've got something to show you today, which is going to actually knock that out of the water once and for all. Now, I know all my supporters here and the people that follow this channel here know I'm legit anyway. But for any new people or for any people that are watching that listen to Mr. T and all of these other guys out there that accuse me of being fake and not getting actual source information, I've got a few things to show you. Right? Now, Cinnamon Toast Crunch is at the actually putting it up there what I'm about to show you. So, do you remember, guys, when I told all of you guys that BBC had taken down a video in relation to Spyfall, right? I think you will all remember that, right? Now, I took screenshots, obviously, of the takedown, but I was accused of photoshopping that by Mr. T. Oh, it's very easy to use Photoshop and all of this, right? Because they can't accept that Noel actually gets some. And yes, I'm talking about myself in third person. Noel doesn't get any information. Well, I'm about to blow that out of the water. Now, I don't look at, as I said, I'm never going to get the recognition in this fandom that I deserve or the credit that I deserve for releasing any of this news, which can be frustrating, but I don't care. But once and for all, I'm going to prove to all you guys without a shadow of a doubt that I've actually gotten source information. And the reason why I'm doing this is because everybody's talking about Rose, Ayling, Ellis, as if they've been the one that have broken this news story. They haven't. I broke this 3 months ago before anybody was even her name wasn't even considered, right? Her name wasn't even considered. And I was the first channel to talk about that. And now I hear channels talking about, oh, we talked about this a few weeks back. Doesn't matter. I talked about it fucking 3 months ago. But you see, again, because it's the Tarda Zone official YouTube channel, right? Nobody will give me the credit. They're even doing videos and saying that a YouTuber out there broke it. But they won't mention me because they have a hatred towards me. But I'm going to prove to you guys once and for all, right? And the people, all me haters that will be watching this stream, watch very carefully because I've got something to show you that's going to blow your mind. So first of all, I'm going to go with, hold on now. I want to make sure that I get the right thing up first because I want to do this in a particular order. Right, we will start with this first. This first. And the reason why I just want to start with this first is because this was embargoed information that I'd received. And you will see that I'm off by about 10 minutes of when it was going to drop. But when you see the photographs that the BBC threw up and the photographs that I threw up 15 minutes before, you will see that I literally was getting information. So here is this... And I was accused of photoshopping this as well, but I'm going to actually dispel all of that now with the next thing that I'm going to show you. So as you can see there, right, the Doctor Who, they put up the Dalek, the pictures, right? Now I put my pictures up in a different way to them, as you can see, they're actually the opposite way. But watch the trailer and now read more about the New Year's special and hear from showrunner Chris Chibnall. Now, they dropped these photographs at 7:35 p.m. I dropped mine at 7:10 p.m. on the same date, a full 15 minutes before they did. Now, I did actually say it was embargoed until 7:25, but BBC didn't throw it up until 7:35. So I was 10 minutes out, but as you can see there, and by the way, them photographs, the date is the 29th of November 20. So if someone wants to go back to my Twitter account and actually check that specific date, you can, and you will see the tweet is up. And I put it up at 7:10. A whole, as I said, a whole what was it? I was 10 minutes off with saying that they drop it at 7:25. So I was only 10 minutes off, but I got the same photographs, right? Okay. So that's that, right? So I just want to. The only reason why I'm doing this because I'm sick and tired of being accused of being a liar. Again, it's the same thing with the Rose Ayling Ellis thing. I had Mr. T slag me off and actually say, well, this is the fella that said that the TARDIS was going to change because of Black Lives Matter. I'm not going to get every single piece of information right, Mr. TARDIS. Right? I'm not going to get every single piece of information. But the fact that you dismiss and ignore blatant evidence that I've put stuff out there is what annoys me. And because you go around melting off, everybody believes what you say. And it's wrong. It's wrong. But this is the one that's going to blow it out of the water completely. Because, as I said, for years I've been, since the Spyfall episode has dropped, I've been telling people that I put up a video about that, and I've been accused of photoshopping, right? I was accused of photoshopping, screenshots, right? But I'm going to dismiss that once and for all, and this is actually glorious. Because I could not believe I actually found this video last night, and I'd forgotten all about that. After BBC had actually taken it down on YouTube, I was a smart arse and I went onto the BBC official site and I dropped the video there for everybody to see, because I wanted everybody to know what was going to happen to Spyfall, because at the time I was a bit of a vindictive little shit and I didn't give a shit that people knew what was going to happen. But I'm going to show you the video, right? And you tell me when I put this video up how many of the things I actually got right, right? And the Cinnamon Toast Crunch has actually confirmed there, right? I've gotten everything right. But anyway, here's the screenshot of this. I'll give you a screenshot first. So I was accused of photoshopping this, right? Apparently, you know, you can do stuff like this on Photoshop. I don't know if you can, but this is what I was being accused of. So there you go. Exclusive information on Spyfall. Your video has been taken down. A claimant sent us a legal notice and their copyrighted content in your video. As a result, your video has been removed from YouTube, right? And then underneath there, exclusive information on Spyfall, and then it gives some mad code there. Manually detected, so someone went in and manually checked my video. BBC Studios are their claimant, and the video was taken down, and the strike expires on the 17th of March. So I was actually, if you remember, that was a time where I couldn't actually stream for a while. But there's the photo of the screenshot, I should say, of the takedown, right? Now, I was accused of photoshopping that. But you see, there's one problem with that accusation. And the problem with that accusation is literally this. So I'm about to play is something. Just wait. I just want to press pause for a second. Why can't I pause it? There we go. We press pause. Bring it back. Bring it back. Bring it back. Right. He's ready for this. Oh, Jesus Christ. What's going on? I'm having a lot of... I've noticed technical difficulties even last night when I was doing the stream. I cut off for the first time in feckin' months. Why hadn't you pausing? I hate Twitter. I really do hate Twitter. It's just an annoying app. Anyway, here we go. So I'm about to throw something up that disputes and dispels any notion that I'm a liar. And why does it mean that much to me? It's because I'm sick and tired of me name being dragged through the mud, to be quite honest with you. I am. I'm sick and tired of it. Now, as you can see there, the date is the 29th of December Yeah, 2019. 3 days to go. So it was 3 days before Series 12 was going to drop. Yeah? Okay? Now, watch this. I'll press play.
So 2 years ago, before the season had kicked off, season 12, I dropped a video in the Doctor Who official, as you can see there. I'll just play it real briefly.
So I said the Master will appear in the cliffhanger of Spyfall. Master will play a character called O. There will be, he will tell the Doctor everything they know is a lie. The Master also has a TCE.
The Master also used
right? Stephen Fry will make a cameo.
Stephen Fry will
have a small part.
Which I was right.
The plane crashes and who will survive?
Plane crashes too. Who will survive?
Jodie tones down her performance. Sasha is pretty good. Master will fly the TARDIS beside the plane to reveal to Jodie's Doctor he is the Master. This has been given to me after the screening of Spyfall. So as you know, they do a screening. But there you go. I mean, there's the date. It's there for everybody to see. I literally gave the plot away for Spyfall, and that's why my YouTube video was taken down. So apparently in this fandom, I have zero credibility when it comes to putting out source information. It's absolutely bullcrap, right? I have been getting source information, and again, like the Rose Ayling Ellis information, which I received 3 months ago, yeah, is now being reported by the Mirror and Radio Times and all of those YouTubers out there, and there you go. So I just wanted to show you that, the proof to you that I don't need to prove to me audience, because I know you guys know already, because you've been here following me from day one, right? But this is to all the other people, right, out there that are listening to Mr. T and all of these other YouTubers that Noel has zero credibility. I have more credibility than half of the YouTubers out there that are actually putting up titles of the videos. Doctor Who leak. Doctor Who leak. It's not a leak. They're getting it from Gallifrey Base, and they're getting it from Reddit, and they're not actually getting information from proper sources directly. I have. And then they criticize me for when I do my video. Oh, Noel's videos are clickbait. Noel is lying, but yet literally they're putting up Doctor Who leak. Yous are clickbait. Yous are clickbaiting. Yous our own audience. But yous accuse me of doing that. Yous are very hypocritical. But again, I just wanted to show you that, because, you know, obviously since this news story has broke, I have been getting a little bit of stick. You know, people sending me messages and all sorts. You know, I wanted to set the record straight finally, because I'm sick and tired of all of this nonsense that, you know, that I make all of this stuff up. Do you know what? It was a miracle that I found that video last night. It was a miracle that I found that video last night. And then I keep receipts, so I still have as you're saying, I still have the screenshots of the takedown. You know, I always keep that, because I know someone's going to come back at me, or you've no credibility at all. But I needed that video, right? I actually did need that video to prove it, because YouTube had taken it down. But I'd forgotten that I'd actually put it up on Facebook, and it just for somewhere, I was in the Doctor Who and it popped up. I was like, where the hell did that come from? So I obviously did what anyone would do when their backs are to the wall and are being accused of being a liar. I actually took a video of it to show you the date, to show you where it is. By the way, the date is there. You can go into that post, 3 days to go, Series 12. Go in and have a look at my video. It's there. So there you go. Is the actress any right? So let's get down to business. And the business of this evening is obviously Rose, Ayling, Ellis. The media are now saying that there's a rumor that she is going to be the next companion. As I said last night, the fact that she has followed RTD, Richard Pryor, who is a casting director, and Shooty, I'm telling you now, it's a shoe-in. It's a shoe-in. It's going to happen. And this announcement's going to happen at the end of the month. And how do I know that the announcement's going to happen at the end of the month? Because it's come out of our mouth herself. She has said she can't say anything until the end of the month, right? And that her job, the new job that she's in, is shrouded in secrecy and she can't say anything. She's definitely going to be Shooty Gatwa's companion. And again, as I said 3 months ago, I broke this before anybody else did. And I don't care what people say. Nobody else out there was reporting on this. Only me. I was the only one that reported on this. And now I'm here to, oh, I knew about this months ago. I just didn't say anything and all of this. No, you didn't know. Because if you knew, you would have dropped it. Right? You don't hold on to information like that. It's Andy Pryor. Yeah, I keep getting mixed up with Richard and yeah. Shh. We'll say nothing. Shh, Philip. Shh. Right? We'll forget that I made a mistake. No, they won't take you as a credible channel because they're used to spreading fake information for photoshopped images to alter tweets. They're the kings of fake news. Forget them, just be you. I know, and I get it. And people are probably saying, why are you actually even trying to defend yourself? But the thing about it is, when I seen that video, I knew I had to throw it up, Chris, because, you know, that was the key to proving to everybody that I was actually getting legit stuff. So all the doubters out there, they cannot doubt what's in front of their, well, they probably still will because they're a bunch of idiots, but it's there for everybody else to see. All I'm just saying is that all of these people, the bottom line is they're all jealous. And they're jealous because I was the one that was getting the information, right? I remember even Billy sending a tweet to the BBC. Why are you giving no zone embargoed information? He's toxic. Right? That's the jealousy of them. That's the jealousy. And that particular YouTuber steals my fucking information anyway. He reports it on his own channel, says another YouTuber, right, is talking about it. And I've noticed something about him as well. He never gives credit to anybody in the fandom. It doesn't matter what side they're on. Right? Takes their information and goes with it. Yasmin Finney is only in the 60th. All of this talk from the media that she's going to be Shooty's companion is absolute bullshit. She's not. She's there only for David Tennant's, because she even said after she had finished, it's a wrap, right? She's not the companion. It's going to be Rose, right? And it's nailed on as far as I'm concerned. You don't go in and start following RTD on Instagram and Shooty and then Andy Pryor, who's the casting director, right? And then come out and say in an interview that you can't say anything about your next job because it's shrouded in secrecy, but you will all find out at the end of the month. It's a shoe-in. It's a shoe-in. Yasmin Finney is only in the 60th. She will not be Shooty Gatwa's companion. It'll be Rose, Ayling, Ellis. That's who will be the companion. But I am going to say this because obviously a lot of you know my story here on YouTube. You know my story because I've told you on YouTube. But I have noticed something very disturbing, and I'm gonna have to call it out. But I'm seeing a lot of comments, and I had to remove some comments of people making jokes about the fact that she's deaf and saying how is she going to lip read Daleks and all of this other rubbish, right? I'm not going to tolerate that nonsense, because if anybody knows my story, right, I've already told you that I've got members of my family who are deaf, right? So I find it highly fucking disturbing that there are people out there making jokes about this about Rose, the fact that she happens to be a deaf person. It's absolutely disgusting, right? And it needs to stop, okay? And another thing as well, I don't want to hear any of this nonsense. Oh, she's just a diversity hire. She's just a tick box. She's not. She's not, right? Because as I said, if you go and actually watch her performances, right, as far as I'm concerned, there's no other girl out there right now that I would consider as a companion. She is up there. She's top actress. She's won awards. She even won Strictly as well, which that has nothing to do with it. But she is a fantastic actress. And, you know, the fact that people are saying, well, she only got the role because she's deaf. No, she got it because she was the best actress for the job. And if I see any more of that nonsense in me chat or in me comments, you will be permanently removed from this channel. I am not going to tolerate that nonsense. Okay? So I want to make that absolutely clear. Right? I'm not tolerating none of that nonsense. So if I see any of those lip reading comments, and any of these silly fucking comments, yous are gone. Yous are gone. She's not a checkbox. She's not a diversity hire. Right? She was picked because she's the best actress out there at the moment to play a companion. Okay? Now, some of yous will have yous our own favourite out there. But be under no illusion that this woman wasn't cast because she was deaf. She was cast because she's the best actress for the role. Just like Shooty. People keep bringing up his skin colour and he's a checkbox. No, he was picked because he was the best actor out there. Go and watch his shows. Go and look at his CV. Don't be telling me this is a different story to the Whittaker era, right? Different story altogether. Whittaker was piss poor and didn't know how to bleed and act properly, right? These people do. And I'm not going to tolerate any comments because, as I said, you know, for me personally, I actually am delighted that Rose is going to get the role because, you know, as I said, you know, I've got family members that struggle with hearing, that have lost hearing and are about to lose hearing in their both ears. My dad has to wear hearing aids and all of that. And by the way, she wears a hearing aid. So for anybody out there saying, "Oh, well, how's she going to lip read Dalek?" She's are idiots, right? Idiots. She has a bleeding hearing aid. And another thing I want to say as well, the media, by the way, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. You're disgusting. She's not disabled. She's not disabled because she's deaf. Okay? She's very able. Okay? She's just deaf. Doesn't mean she's disabled. I hate the way in society, the way things are looked at. Right? Just because she's deaf doesn't mean that you go around the newspaper report say disabled actress. She's not disabled. How is she disabled? How? I just hate the way the media, straight away, that's what they've jumped on anyway, you know, because that's what the media do. And I have seen some people on Twitter, you know, saying, "Oh, I'm done with Doctor Who, gay doctor and all of this. I'm sick of all the propaganda. Doctor Who is dead." Doctor Who ain't dead, right? Even today, right, Doctor Who is trending with over 56,000 tweets. Right? That hasn't happened in 5 years. 56,000 tweets. Right? Doctor Who ain't dead. Right? You may be pissed off at some of the casting decisions and pissed off what's happened the last 5 years. But be under no illusion, Doctor Who ain't dead. I thought it was dead. And I will admit I thought it was dead. But it ain't. And to say otherwise, it's just being petty in my opinion. Doctor Who ain't dead. This era is dead. But RTD, the excitement for his era, we've seen the hype, right? It ain't dead. I'm sorry, I don't care what you say. You can all disagree with me all you want. The show ain't dead, right? This is a resurrection, and we're seeing it happen right in front of our eyes, okay? Doctor Who ain't dead. And, by the way, if you have a problem with a gay man playing the Doctor, I suggest you go and fuck off. If you have a problem with the Doctor being a black guy, fuck off. Okay? I'm sick of all of this nonsense coming out of people's mouth, right? You don't know what the thing about it is like, you know, you jump, it's a tick box. No. Look at his work, you fucking idiots. And if you're not going to look at his work, then keep your mouth shut about him, right? Because if you look at what he's done and you've seen his acting ability, trust me, you wouldn't be saying half of the shite that comes out of most of his mouths. You wouldn't. You wouldn't. And it's the same with Rose, all the nonsense that's coming out of people's mouths. Go and watch her before you start making comments about someone, right? We knew about Jodie Whittaker because she was in shows that we watched. We knew that she wasn't up to the job. But if you're asking me, based on what we've seen the last 5 years and the casting that they've done right now, I'm very happy. Very happy Shooty's the Doctor. And I'm very happy that Rose, hopefully, I think it's a shoe-in now. I can't wait for the announcement at the end of the month. It'll be absolutely fantastic. And as she's absolutely capable of being a great companion. She will be a great companion. I know she will. I know she will. Because she's proven her acting chops on screen. Just like Shooty has. Just like Shooty has. This is different to 5 years ago, folks. See, this is the thing that's happened. The last 5 years has been highly politicised, so people are always going to be cautious, or people are just downright, oh no, Shooty's a diversity hire. Oh, Rose is a diversity hire. Right? Because of what's happened the last 5 years. But you have to forget about what's happened the last 5 years. And I know it's hard, but you've got to look at this for what it is, right? And RTD has a track record, by the way, of doing Doctor Who properly. So I do not believe that any of these castings are tick boxes or diversity hires, as most people out there would like to claim that they are. They're not. They're not. To be honest, I'd class being deaf as a disability, but see, I don't get why you would class it as a disability. Yeah, it may affect her life, but she's went out there. She's had a career. She's won Strictly, right? I mean, I'm sorry, but where I don't see why I don't class it as a disability. I'm sorry. And as I said, I've got members of the family that are deaf. I don't class it as a disability. Dave, you keep bringing up Gary. Me and Gary had a falling out ages ago, but I did look into his Facebook account, and I did look online to see was there anything out there, because we do know he's from Liverpool. But there's no point to keep bringing it up, because at the end of the day, there's no way of getting in contact with him. There's even family members that are in his friends list, and they haven't posted that since 2020 either. So, you know, maybe he's just decided to go offline and not interact with anybody, because he did near the end have a fallout with me and a couple of other people. But there's nothing we can do, mate. There's nothing. I checked the obituaries. I checked his Facebook page thoroughly. I went through his friends list to see if there was any family members that I could get in contact with, or someone that has even recently commented to see if they knew anything. Right? There's nothing we can do, mate. This is not like the Alpha Omega situation. So I don't know where he is. I hope, don't get me wrong, I hope he's okay. But we're not going to be able to find us. There's no point you stressing yourself out about it. If Gary is around, he will come back when he feels like coming back. Maybe he's took a break, and maybe he'll come back for the 60th anniversary. You never know. But there's nothing we could do. I checked last night because I see his name popping up all the time. There's nothing we can do about it. There's nothing we could do about it. I've done all. I've looked into it. I've checked Liverpool obituaries to see if his name is there. His name hasn't showed up in any way. He lives in Liverpool. I've checked his Facebook, as I said, and as I said, he hasn't been active in a while. But neither has his family members. So maybe they've all decided to go offline, or maybe he won the fucking lottery or something, and he's fecked off somewhere. Or obviously, I know why you're probably worried. But there's nothing we could do, Dave. Unfortunately, there's nothing we can do. I did have a look. So all we can do is just hope that he turns up. But again, he could have left social media because of the stress. Because remember, it is a very stressful place being in the Doctor Who fandom. So I wouldn't be jumping the gun, because I haven't found anything that suggests that anything bad has happened. So, because trust me, there would be something somewhere. And I checked for over an hour and a half last night, because I keep seeing his name popping up in my videos and on Messenger. So I said, you know what? I'll go in and I'll have a look myself, because there's nothing we can do, unfortunately, until he either makes an appearance or someone comes forward and tells us that something has happened. But what I would suggest is maybe get in contact, because I'm not going to do it, because I as I said, me and Gary didn't end on the best of terms. He accused me of all sorts of nonsense, and I just blocked him, right? But what I suggest is, if you're that worried, try contact someone on his Facebook page that recently had contact with him, and try find out off them if they've even heard from him. Or maybe talk to some of his old pals that stabbed me in the back, that are out there. Maybe they'll be able to tell you if he's okay. You know, there's plenty of backstabbing went on in this fandom. It's funny. I just seen a post recently, someone saying that they're giving up YouTube because they were backstabbed and all of this. That's calling the kettle black anyway. I mean, you fucking backstab me. You only got the bleeding chance. So don't start bitching and moaning when it happens to you. So that's what I suggest you do, Dave. And if you do find out, let us know. But as I said, I did look into it, mate. I did look into it and I found nothing. So that's a good sign, I suppose. But remember, he just could have fucking had enough of social media. Remember, a lot of accounts have disappeared and not returned. Some have, as you know. So don't jump the gun, because we don't know anything. But as I said, that'll be the best thing for you to do, because it wouldn't be right for me to do it after we had a falling out, and then go and start talking to his family members. I mean, people that are friends with him should be the ones that should be doing this. But look, let's hope, because all differences aside, you know, let's hope everything is well with him. Because, you know, before we had the falling out, Gary's he is a nice chap. You know, this fandom just fucked us all up. Yeah, he used to be on the channel, Cinnamon. He used to be on the channel, and then actually in the early days I used to have a lot of other different people on the channel. And then what happened was do you remember the leaked photographs of all the celebrities? Do you remember all the celebrities were hacked? Well, Jodie Whittaker's phone was hacked, and there was images, and I'd censored the images because she was obviously naked in them. But I did censor the images, but I threw them up on the channel, because obviously I was covering Doctor Who. She was the lead actress in a family TV show, and I was discussing the fact that I thought it was irresponsible that in this day and age that celebrities actually put those type of photos on their phones and their computers, knowing that there is a chance that you could be hacked. Now, in hindsight, I did end up taking the video down, because it did cause an awful lot of divide. And what happened is the person that's actually talking about stabbing people in the back, and that's why they're finished, literally did that to me, and they all turned on me and they fecked off and they did their own thing. And then every chance that they got, they were having little digs about me behind the scenes and stuff. See, what they don't realize is I know all the shit they were saying about me because, you know, they think that certain people out there were their friends. People were telling me the shit that they were saying. Anyway, no, everybody knows what I do on the channel. I'm not going to start changing the headlines to videos because whatever. This is what I do. Right? I've been doing it for 5 years. I'm not going to change nothing. Now, you go back and watch your Schitt's Creek. I've got everything under control here. That's what I mean. It's absolutely disgusting. And I will put that up because I'm not tolerating it either. Do I exist on this account or am I banned? No, you're actually using your account. Yeah, I love Schitt's Creek. No, I can't fucking stand it. But obviously Cheryl's gotten into it. I watched the first couple of episodes with her and I was like, nah, this is not my cup of tea. But apparently, according to Cheryl, that we actually left the show a little bit too early because apparently it gets better. But I don't care. It doesn't. It's not. Look, when it comes to American comedy, you know, there are only a few shows out there that I actually think are funny. What? Oh, it doesn't matter. Canadian, American, all the same. You can't do comedy. You used to be able to do comedy. I mean, he's had Saturday Night Live and all of that, and he had some great stand-up comedians at the time, Richard Pryor, Eddie Murphy, and all of these lads. But no, American comedy today is not funny. I'm sorry to say it, but it's not. I'd watch. I'd rather watch a British comedy or an Irish comedy faster than I would any American comedy. I just don't get theirs. I mean, the things that Americans think are funny, I just don't get it. Their sense of humor is a bit weird to me. British comedy is superior. I agree. It's far superior. Can you see me as Cheryl Sheed? Yes. I literally said that. I said yes. There, look. Cheryl Sheed. There you go. And Teddy. Why are you putting Teddy in the title for? Let's put Teddy in. So yeah, so back right. So here, obviously, if some of you want to come on for a couple of minutes to discuss this news about Rose, please let me know in the chat, and I'll send you an email there. I'm still going to kill. Oh, I don't know what's going on there, man. Cheryl, just use one of the accounts to stop confusing me, please. Thank you. So yeah, this is what's going to be happening. I'm going to be keeping an eye on me comment section from now on. I'm not one for censoring people. You do know that. I'm not. It's very rare that I'll censor someone unless I think they're bang out of order. But I'm seeing a lot of stuff that is bang out of order, and you will be removed. I'm not going to have anybody say the things that they've been saying. And I don't care if you agree with me or not. I mean, You don't start slagging someone off because they're deaf, and you think it's funny to say things like, "Well, how is she going to lip read a Dalek?" I mean, yeah, I didn't agree with some of the comments either. I know, and you should check the Mirror article. They're even worse on the Mirror article because you can read the comment section. Some people are just vile. They're just vile. Cinnamon, I have sent you. I have sent you an email. Who else wants to come on? I'm just seeing if anybody else wants to come on. British humour is vastly different. Yeah, look, maybe it's because I've grown up with British and Irish comedy all my life. But I just don't find American comedy, even some of their big comedy movies and things that they find funny, I'm like, that's not really funny, you know? I don't know what it is. Yeah, I grew up with British and American comedies. Yeah, we know you did. Yeah. She wants me to make that account a mod. Oh, Jesus Christ. Anyway, let's bring on our guest before I have a nervous breakdown. It's the one and only Cinnamon Toast Crunch. So, my friend,
Right.
how do you feel about the rumored casting of Rose Ayling Ellis?
Well, I think you already know, but I'll reiterate it for the comments and people watching. Like I said before, I'm personally really happy for it. Really, I watch EastEnders. Yes, I'm a bloke. I watch EastEnders.
I used to watch it myself, so it's nothing to be ashamed of. It's all
I've been watching it for years at this point, and she's probably. I mean, yeah, it's gone downhill nowadays. I mean, after the tripods on it now, God. But to be fair, there's been a number of characters that are generally well written and good, and she's one of them. Typically, the villains, because they tend to get more character development and they tend to get more emphasis on plot. But yeah, she's had one good storyline, and she's sort of being pushed aside a little bit. So she's a little bit underused at the moment, but no, she's got bags of potential. I think she's one of the best characters that's been on it for quite a while, actually.
I think she's going to be great, mate. I actually think she's going to be great. I don't think. I think out of all the castles that we've had out of New Who, I think she's probably up there with the Roses and the Frigga Angimans and I think this casting is absolutely spot on. I really do.
She's also becoming quite like a household name as well. Like maybe not everyone watches EastEnders, but that's quite
it doesn't matter.
household.
She won Strictly.
That's kind of what I
Strictly
mean,
as well,
yeah,
and she million people adored her. I mean, she fucking ran away with Strictly. Like, I mean, she was one of the favorites to begin with, but obviously, like a lot of people would have questioned that originally. But then when they seen her dance and do the things that she did, she became the one that everybody thought, you know, she's the one you have to be, and she won it, and she deserved it. You know, I've watched clips of her dances. Now I don't watch Strictly, you know that, right? But I've watched clips of her. I've watched clips of her because, you know, I want to, and I have seen a couple of the episodes of EastEnders because obviously, you know, the wife was watching it for a while, but some of the dialogue was so fucking cringy from the other actor. I just taking the piss out of it. But I have seen her in action, and I don't think this is a bad casting. I think this is a great casting, and that's where I'm on it. But the thing that's annoying me is all these vile comments, and it needs to stop. These need to stop because, you know, it's wrong. It's wrong. You don't judge someone because, you know, they may have a disability, right? And I know what you are saying about the disability thing, but you see, this is where I have a problem. Rose being deaf doesn't stop her from doing anything. We've seen
Yeah,
that.
no, it's just when I made that point, it was more about you can still be abled and have a disability. So, for example, I have a mental disability, but I'm still able to go to work.
Yeah,
It's
I
not just.
know, I know, I know what you're saying, but I hate that word. There should
I mean,
be a
I do
different.
too. Like in
Yeah,
culture and
it
society
should be
nowadays,
different because she's still able to do. Actually, she's probably fucking even. She's achieved more than any of us fucking here. Like, do you know what I mean? So I mean,
yeah,
her being deaf hasn't hampered her in her career anyway. I don't know what it was like for her as a kid. I cannot comment on that. But now, as an adult and doing what she's done, it hasn't affected her. But I hate that word disability when it comes to describing people that are deaf.
I do. Yeah, because it's overused and it's got to the point where everything's classed as a disability. But it's by definition anything that
Yeah,
impairs.
no, and Cheryl's making
Physical.
the point there. I get what you're saying. I just don't personally like the word. Okay, simple.
I think it's like I say, I agree. It's kind of overused in a lot of terms. It's people say like ADHD is classed
Yeah,
as a disability.
do you know what's funny as well? The media now have just focused on she'll be the forced deaf companion and this, that, and the other. Jesus
That's the bit
Christ,
that is going to annoy me because that's the bit they're going to focus on, isn't it? That's it.
yeah,
It's going to be
it's
that's
like
what's important, and that's
it's
kind of why I
like
like a character in EastEnders is because yeah, she's deaf in that show, but that isn't the be all and end all. She's like she's there's more to her than that.
exactly. I've seen her. You're right. There is a more to her, but this is what I'm hating. The media now are just. This is what the media will focus on. But as I said to people, you have to be very careful, right? Just because the media are talking about this doesn't mean that RTD is going to make it the focus of his companion. I think it's rather silly for people to jump the gun on this when we haven't seen a thing from RTD and Series 14. Remember, they're still on the 60th right now, right? So all of this talking nonsense that I'm hearing, what you are basing it off absolutely no evidence whatsoever.
It seems like a lot of people have got sort of prejudged views of it already, and it's like naturally people are going to have opinions going into it. I understand that, but it's like some of the stuff I've been hearing is quite strong opinions, and it's like we haven't seen anything yet. Excuse me. We've seen a couple of we've seen a couple of filming locations in what is it in Bristol, and I think in London. But that's it. It's like people are getting I don't know what the word is, very sort of het up about it, very very defensive, and it's like we haven't seen a single thing yet.
I know. See, this is the thing. It's like the media just want to. It doesn't matter who you are, right? It could be even me, right? Imagine if I was an actor, right? The media would find some box or some label or some category to put me in. It's not, oh no, great Irish actor, blah blah blah. Oh, it's no, mentally ill actor, the blah 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 blah, whatever, right? Just throwing it out there because you all know I have, suffer from mental health and stuff. But that's the way it'd be framed. It wouldn't be great Irish actor Noel lands role in Doctor Who. It'd be disabled mentally ill actor Noel gets role in Doctor Who. That's literally the way they wouldn't frame it up, but you know the point I'm trying to make. They
Yeah,
wouldn't just focus on the person, the fact that they got the job because they're good at their job.
it's
Right?
it's less the individual and more. It's almost like everything's weaponized, and it's like yes, politics is people and people is politics, but it's way too overused in the sense that it's overbearing. It's too in your face, and it's like yes, I believe that everybody should have the same opportunity to be in Doctor Who. So we've seen what was that woman called? I don't know who her name was, but you recognised her. She was I think perhaps of Asian descent, but she was Irish. She was in the Flux. I can't remember her
Oh,
character's name. You know that one?
what's her face? What was her name? What was her name?
That's going to wind you up now, isn't it?
See, just goes to show you how bad Doctor Who has been that I can't even remember the name of the character or the actress that was in.
Yes,
Eve of
Charlotte,
the Daleks.
Vinder's love interest. Was her name Belle or something? I can't be in it, right? Was it Belle?
It was. Her name was Belle. But yeah, they didn't focus on her character. They focused on the fact that she happened to be.
I mean, I know people that made comments about it, but it's like I believe everyone should have the same opportunity to be in Doctor Who. Do I believe everyone should be in Doctor Who? Well, that's a different question. That's the bit that I feel people get tripped up on. Is that two things can be true at once? Everyone, I believe, me personally, I believe everyone should have the same opportunity to be in Doctor Who. But whether they should be, in terms of not just putting them there for the sake of it, like everyone assumed was Shooty. I mean, I generally believe in Russell when he says that he stole the show. I've got no reason to not believe that, so I may as well.
Yeah,
And
Charlotte's just at the tech. Yeah, and here we are talking about her being deaf. Of course, I'm talking about it because the media are talking about it, and I'm pointing out how ridiculous it actually is that they're not actually doing articles and saying, "Oh, this actress is getting the role because she's actually a great actress." No, they're focusing on the fact that she happens to be deaf and will be the first deaf companion and all of this sort of nonsense. Right, so they've put a nice little label on her and a nice put her in a nice little category, right? Whereas that shouldn't be the focus. It should be the focus that Rose Ayling Ellis has got the role because she has done superbly well in EastEnders, won Strictly Come Dancing, is on the rise, and is a future prospect in the acting world or some mad shit like that. It shouldn't be about the fact that she happens to be deaf. Right?
that's how we were, wasn't it? Like me and you have me and you were spoken on Twitter, and we've talked back and forth. And me and you have been like, "Oh yeah, she's a great actor. She's a great actor." That's the bit that we've been talking about first.
Yeah,
The fact that she's deaf is
that's all I've
irrelevant.
been talking about. But it has to be brought up because the media decide that they want to put her in a category, in a box, and I think that's goddamn wrong. Right? She got the role not because she was deaf. She got the role because she's the best actress out there at the moment. Right? And that's who RTD believes will make a great companion. Right? It wasn't because she was deaf. It wasn't the first thing that RTD would have thought, oh, let me see, is there any deaf actresses out there? Who can I get to play a deaf companion? Right? He's not looking at that. He's looking at who's the best actress out there right now at the moment that's hot, that's that has everybody talking about her. Right? And right now that person is Rose, even before she was even mentioned about coming to Doctor Who. People were talking about this actress and how great she was and all the stuff she's won and all of this. Right? So that's why I'm bringing it up. Because the media want to consistently do this every time. It was the same when Shooty was cast. Oh, the first black gay actor to play Doctor Who. Why can't you just say welcome Shooty to Doctor Who? Got the job because he happened to be the best person for the role. But no, same nonsense, same bull from the media every time. It's like, oh look, we got someone because they tick this box and they tick that box and they tick that box. Right? And then the other people on the other side wonder why we give out all the time, and then they call us bigots, homophobes, and racists and all. No. Sorry, you got it wrong. See, the thing about it is, the reason why we're complaining is because what you're doing is you're doing a disservice to Shooty. You're doing a disservice to Rose. Because when you just focus on the fact that Shooty is black and gay, and you focus on the fact that Rose is deaf, then you're kind of taken away from why they were cast in the first place. They weren't cast because of any of that. They were cast because they're the best people for the part, for the roles. And this is why I hate the media. And the media drive this, by the way. And then you have the gobshites, the radical leftists in their fandom, right, the blow-ins. Then they jump on that, and then they retweet, oh, look, they're not my doctors are being racist again. Oh, look, they're not my doctors are slagging off. Right? But the media drive all of this. And the media have to be held to account. Because it's absolutely disgusting that that's what they just focus on. Right? They're literally saying This is what they're saying, by the way. I'll say it out straight. This is what the media is saying. The media are basically saying that Shooty got the role because he happened to be gay and black. And they're saying the same thing about Rose, that she only got the role basically because she's deaf. That's what they're saying. And I'm sorry, that's wrong. Right? They should be, instead of the newspaper headline, Rose Ayling Ellis, the first deaf companion, what the headline should have been was Rose Ayling Ellis to become Shooty Gatwa's new companion. Right? That's what the headline should have been. Right? That's it. You don't focus on... I'm sorry, this is why I don't trust media. This is why I don't listen to the media. And this is why I hate them with such a passion. They just have to turn everything into an agenda. And then people on both sides, see, they know what they're doing. Because they know there'll be pushback from fans on their side of the argument that will take this article and say, and run with it and say, oh yeah, that's what they are doing, ticking boxes and all this. Right? They know what they're doing. But at the same time, the media know that the people that are saying that, then people on the opposite side of the argument are going to come after those people. It's a vicious cycle, right? They just want to, and these media outlets are disgusting. That's all they just keep talking about. Tick box, tick box, tick box, tick box, tick box, tick box. And no wonder then there's fans out there that do complain. But I did say this last night. I think people have to be very careful. And the last 5 years we've seen this. So this is why I'm telling people not to jump the gun with RTD era too, right? Not to jump the gun. Because the media will want you to think that all of this is done for tick box, tick box, tick box. But that's not the reality of the situation. Right? They were picked because they were the best out there. Right? Okay? It wasn't because of the fact that Rose happened to be deaf or Shooty happened to be black. Right? And as I said, if you have a problem with a black doctor, well then you're not welcome on this channel. Because I've never had an issue with it. Because my original choice to take over from Jodie Whittaker was Richard Ayoade. Always has been. I think he'd make a fantastic doctor. So, you know, this is not news to anybody else out there. So if people have a problem that I have no problem with a black doctor, well then get out. Leave me alone. Don't come back to the channel. And it's the same with Rose. If you have a problem with Rose because she happens to be deaf, again, get out my channel. Don't come back. I don't want you here. Simple as that. I'm sorry, but, you know, I think it's disgusting what I'm saying. You know, all of these sly little comments, oh, how's she going to lip read Daleks and all of this other nonsense? Get out. You're not welcome here, right? Because I fully support Shooty's casting and Rose's casting if it happens. I'm 100% behind it. So if that's a problem for you, you can leave now. I don't actually mind if people go. Just go. I'd rather you go than actually stay in the chat and try rile up people and try get a reaction. If you have a problem with a black guy playing the doctor, leave. If you have a problem with a deaf girl becoming a companion, leave. And there you go. This is what I'm talking about. I will let Cheryl's in the chat anyway. Because, you know,
I was going to point it out, but I didn't want to interrupt.
It's grand. Cheryl will sort it out. We're not going to tolerate any of this. So I suggest you leave. I've actually kind of had enough of your ridiculousness now. You've been doing this for the past few months anyway. Any subject or topic that I bring up, you always have an opposite answer. Listen, go and listen to Az and all of those other people if you want them to agree with your opinion, because I'm pretty sure he'd have a problem with all of this. So go and listen to him, right? Don't be coming here, because as I said to you, you know, this whole situation with the last 5 years, this is what all of this nonsense, this is what you get now. And the media and the fans on the other side are responsible for some of the comments that we're getting. And I'm just sick of it.
I think it can be sort of like mudslinging from both sides, you know,
No,
because
I
you'll have one
agree.
side, because you have like, because I saw a Twitter thread yesterday, and it was about Joe Martin, and it was about his account that I think I was on Marty's space, and there was somebody who listened, and then that person who was listening then followed me, and I just curiously checked out their profiles because I was going to follow them back, and they made a thread. It was an interesting thread, and they were saying, "Oh, I would save the Fugitive Doctor." They want to make a series out of the Fugitive Doctor. I mean, I disagree, but one of the points that they made was because she was the first. Technically, she was the first of a Black Doctor, so that's why they wanted her to stay, or that's why they wanted her to have more screen time. I thought, what kind of a ridiculous reason. And it's like you've got one side who sort of champions it, and then you've got the one other side who criticize it over instantly, where they'll say you've got one side who say, "Oh, it's fantastic," then the other side who say, "Oh, it's woke. It's just a diversity hire," even when it might not even necessarily be a diversity hire, but they just look at shooting and say, "Oh yeah, straight away diversity hire."
Yeah. Look, I'm probably partly responsible for this because of what's happened the last 5 years, and I've been very vocal about the Jodie Whittaker era. But as I said, there's a stark difference between Jodie Whittaker's casting and Shootie's, right? There was
Absolutely.
definitely an agenda behind the Jodie Whittaker casting. We seen the breaking of the glass ceiling. We heard all the interviews, right? Shootie has done none of that. He done one interview, and then he did a video where Sylvester McCoy welcomed him to the fandom. And ever since then, all he has done is said nice things. Hasn't come out with any bullshit or any crap.
This is
Right?
why I loved it, because Jodie's announcement was done to make a statement. Oh wow, look how powerful I am. But then you see how humble Shooty was. And yeah, I know we all saw that big red carpet video of him talking about it, but that he only talked about it because that woman was itching to ask him a question
Well, she
about it.
did, and then BBC, that was a BBC reporter, and then the RTD, that interview broke BBC's own guidelines. So, look, again, even when that happened, I said, look, okay, it doesn't look good what he said, because it does look like he's going to start. But as I said at the time as well, I said, look, we can't jump the gun on RTD because RTD has the track record to back it up. This is not Chibnall. If this was Chibnall doing this, I'd be definitely witches in this argument that every casting decision that was made was made because of a political or ideological reason, right? But not with RTD. RTD has done it in his past era anyway, and he's never focused on certain things. He's just focused on character development and building these characters. That's what I mean, real super doctor. I sent you that email, Charlotte. Shooty seems positive. Exactly. He wasn't coming out with bullshit and saying, "Oh, Doctor Who's not for white people anymore." Was he? Just like when Jodie Whittaker was coming out with all this nonsense. "Oh, little girls now have a role model to follow."
That's why I said it was more like for Jodie, it was more about making a statement. Because when Jodie was announced, it was more like, "Oh, look at me," and it seemed
I know.
like,
Yeah, listen, Miss Whittaker, you mightn't believe this, but a woman was responsible for bringing this show to TV. Women worked behind the scenes on the show as well for decades. And by the way, Miss Whittaker, you mightn't actually believe this, but when the Doctor Who fandom was around at the time, back in the day, there were women in the fandom. I don't know where you get that this was, and all of this talk that was a boys' club. It was never a boys' club, right? No, but no bloke out there ever told any woman, any child, "Oh, you can't be a Doctor Who fan." Right? Nobody.
I remember watching like a question sort of panel. I think it was a question. I don't know what it was. It was some sort of like event, and I'm sure Carol Ann Ford was there, and she was taking questions. And I saw loads of females in the audience asking questions about the show.
Look, it's all absolute rubbish. It was propaganda to make out that this, look, We see it in other fandoms. They've done it. It's the way they do things. They try to rewrite history, tell us that, you know, this, that, and the other happened in the fandom when it's not true. Women have played a huge part in the success of Doctor Who, and they've always been welcomed into the fandom. Actually, we were quite embarrassed about the fandom back in the 80s and stuff because, you know, Doctor Who was kind of going through a rough patch at that time. So a lot of us didn't want to admit that we were Doctor Who fans. But be under no illusion, folks, right? Doctor Who, when it came back in 2005, wouldn't have had the success that it had if it was a man's only club. Like, and all of these people that are talking about how Doctor Who wasn't diverse enough and how the fandom wasn't diverse enough, should they all come into the fandom in 2005? Now,
I think there's a start.
don't get me wrong. If I had known what I know now back then, I actually would have pushed them all out of the fandom, because they're the people that ingrained themselves into the fandom, got powerful within the fandom, and then start changing the narrative that Doctor Who was a boys' club, Doctor Who wasn't for women, and we were basically telling them that nobody, that was just a boys' club, that wasn't inclusive. Doctor Who's fandom has always been inclusive. All of these sci-fi shows that get accused of not being diverse, like Star Trek, like Doctor Who, you know, as I said, these newer fans, or blow-ins as they call them, they changed the narrative. They tried to change history. And the reality of the situation is that not one bloke has ever told, as far as I'm aware, nobody has ever been told that they're not welcome. And anyway, here's the thing. What could people actually do? What could we do as fans to stop people from joining the fandom? There's absolutely nothing we can do, right? So all of this talk from the other side that, you know, it was exclusive to boys, it was a boys' club, and women and little girls didn't have a role model in the Doctor, is an absolute lie. And New Who probably is the best example of that. I mean, Christopher Eccleston had his fangirls, not as many as David Tennant and Matt Smith did, but a lot of women came into the fandom in 2005, right? And then after, obviously, David Tennant became the Doctor, Jesus Christ, there was a huge influx. Yeah, they were everywhere, and we were like, this is great, because the fangirls, listen, we just want to make the point. We love fangirls because they'll go out and buy all the merch, and they talk about keep the Doctor in the limelight all the time, and stuff like that. So no problem with it. Look, listen, the more women that come into the fucking fandom, the better, I say. Bring all the fangirls in. Look at Matt Smith right now in House of Dragon. He's got all the fangirls fucking swooning over him right now, and rightly fucking so. He looks hot. I'd even give him one. He's played lovely in that show. I would turn gay for Matt Smith. Absolutely. I would. Telling you now. Not a word of a lie. He's brilliant in it. And by the way, the first episode of House of Dragon is actually very good. Don't be listening to anybody out there that's saying it's shy. It's not. It was. Do you know what? I was surprised because I hated the way Game of Thrones. You all know how I feel about Game of Thrones, right? It was a disaster, right, at the end. And I've been bitter with HBO since then, right? But that first episode, right? And I know Gary did make the point. Neurotics made a good point. He said, you know, while it was good, it's going to take one episode's not going to wipe away what happened with Game of Thrones. And he's absolutely spot on. But the difference is he did actually come out and praise it for what it did. Now, if it keeps it up and keeps up the way the first episode does, and even gets better as the weeks go on, I think House of Dragon, I hate to say it because I didn't think it would happen. Actually, I love to say it. Sorry, not hate to say it, because in a way, I do want this show to succeed. And I'm hoping there's a way that maybe they can use House of Dragon to fix the shit that they did in the last season, right? I'm probably asking for too much, but you never know. But House of Dragon is worth the watch. The first episode is worth the watch. And And if you want plenty of gore, you got it. You want plenty of violence, sex, you got it. You want backstabbing and devious little goings on like you got in Game of Thrones, you got it. There's some people out there saying it's a cheap, poor imitation of Game of Thrones. Just shut up, right? I get it. You're still pissed off with Game of Thrones, right? And I get it, because I'm still pissed off. But don't be deliberately going out and slagging House of Dragon because you're still bitter. The fourth episode was great, and you're only lying to yourself and lying to your audience if you're telling them any different. It was a great story. But anyway, back to all of this.
It's a bit like Flux, isn't it? Because that was like, I remember when the first one came out, everyone was
The
like, "Oh,
fourth
this is
episode was
somewhat
great.
decent episode," and then they were
I
like,
thought the fourth episode was decent. Yeah, I said it. I said the fourth episode was decent. I could actually, everybody was surprised when I actually came out and said that the fourth episode of Flux was actually decent. Actually, everybody on the panel, including Lee, thought the fourth episode of Flux was actually decent. It was the second episode. Right, here, listen, just permanently removed now. I'm done. I'm done with nonsense. But here's our guest. It's royalty, so we have to be on our best behaviour. It's the one and only Queen Charlotte.
Hello, everybody.
How are you?
Hi.
How are you doing?
Good. It's. I love the fact that I was waiting backstage hearing you saying you go gay for Matt Smith, so I'm happy with that.
Yeah, I'll tell you, man.
somebody somewhere took that.
I tell you one
Yes.
thing, mate. I'll tell you one thing. I have heard the negative reaction to his casting, right? And and trust me, there was a lot. Even some Matt Smith fans were kind of like, "Is he going to be right for this role?"
Oh yes.
Let's just put it this way, right? I've always said this about Matt Smith, right? And you can see it sometimes in his Doctor. But when Matt Smith needs to play a horrible human being or someone that's going to be pure evil, there's no better. I mean, his facial expressions alone, when he was even talking to the king, right? And he had that sinister smile on his face, but you see in his eyes the fucking hatred. You could tell.
Yeah.
You could tell.
Matt's Doctor had this undercurrent, which
Yes.
now and again it would show, and it was just like, yes, like you've got that darkness. I would argue more than Tennant. I'd say it was a different darkness to even Eccleston. It was just this sort of ancient being that could just. It was so old at this point, it knew how to be nasty almost.
Yeah.
So, yeah, as soon as I was so happy when I heard he got that part, because I was like, this is the perfect part for him. It's a villain. It's somebody who's a bit, like, you can't trust them. That's perfect. And
Yeah.
So I'm so happy, and also I'm just so happy it's doing well. Because
What I might
needs
do,
it.
yeah, what I might do is I might actually, because I wasn't even going to consider doing this, but because the first episode was such a success, I'm actually thinking of maybe doing. I haven't decided yet. Maybe I'll wait until the next episode to do. Because remember, and I will put this caveat out there. These studios, though, have done this in the past.
Yes.
And what do I mean by that? The first episode will absolutely be sensational. And then by the second or third episode, it completely flips around. And then before you know it, then it's absolute rubbish. And it's basically a switch, bait and switch is what they call it, isn't it? Yeah. So it'll be the second and third episode for me where I'll see if this show is going to delve in or it's going to just stick to the story that it needs to tell. But so far, as I said, I was pretty impressed. But listen, we can talk about that another time because we do have Charlotte on, obviously, to talk about obviously the stuff that's happened recently in the fandom, which is obviously this rumor, which obviously I said we spoke about 3 months ago on this channel, but the media now seem to be reporting on it. She's obviously followed, and the media are reporting this, so she's followed RTD. She's followed Andy Pryor, who happens to be a casting director, and she's following Shooty all on Instagram, and actually has quoted to be saying that she actually is in line for some work, but it's shrouded in secrecy, but everybody will find out at the end of the month. So the end of this month, which is only, what, 6-7 days away?
Yeah, about a week.
Yeah, about a week from now, we will know whether she's new companion or not. But where do you stand on it? And would you be? Are you happy if she is companion? Are you happy with the choice?
I've got to be honest. I'm not an EastEnders person, so I haven't seen her act. But
That's fair enough.
But I can say personality-wise, because I did watch bits of Strictly when she was on Strictly, and she came across as such a down-to-earth, such a lovely, warm, like, personality. Like, she won
But she's quite bubbly,
Strictly.
isn't she?
Yeah, she won Strictly because of her personality, because you just fell in love with her. So I'm happy for that regard if she's got it, because I've sort of said this before, the more sort of personalities we have like that on interviews and actually doing promotion, it's just going to benefit the show, because you need your cast to be likable. You just need, like, it's obviously that's not talent related, but you need them to be able to do red carpets, to do the media circus, and just connect. And she did that very well with Strictly. So, like I said, and considering that quite a few people have said she's good in EastEnders, I can only go off what I've heard people say.
Well, Cheryl just recently started watching it because, you know, she was fascinated by these soaps, and she actually started watching EastEnders for a while. Now, she gave up on it because it got ridiculous, because, as I said, the show has gotten ridiculous. But she was watching it when Rose was on it. So she's even seen some of the storylines, and that's what she says. She can handle drama and comedy well. So, you know, and as I said, I've watched myself a couple of episodes, you know.
No, like I said, what I'll probably do is if she is cast, I'll just go find some clips and just watch her, like, in that form. But I'm more intrigued with if she is cast, because to look at her, for me, she's got a very English Rose quality about her.
Mm.
So I'm intrigued, is she going to be modern day? Is she going to be past? Maybe even future? Because I think she's got a look that if he was to potentially do a companion from the past, I think her natural look would suit that.
Yeah, I think I'd agree with that.
And I think that would be an interesting way to do a companion, because I think New Who has gotten into a rut with companions that they all seem to be very similar backgrounds with slight variations, usually age. That seems to be the only real change.
And they were all modern day.
Well.
They were all modern day companions as well, though, if you think about it, because obviously we had Rose, she was modern. Martha Jones was modern. Donna Noble and Bill Potts. And even the current companions in the current era, they were all modern. So I agree with you. I would like. This is why I was kind of disappointed with Moffat when he did the Victorian Clara. It would have been perfect. So yeah, I wouldn't mind them doing that with Rose's character. Maybe make her Victorian or something, man. That would be great.
Because I just, to look at her, like I said, she's got such of that, like, classic look.
I'm picturing her now, like, in that white dress that Victoria wore in the 60s.
Yeah, but then even if she is modern day, which I've got a sneaky feeling she will be, but even if she is modern day, actually having a companion where it will have to come up, but I think Russell could actually mean that writer in a fashion that we get a very different perspective. We get a very different type of companion, which is, if we can't have the time being the difference, you can just have a different outlook and a completely different way of seeing things naturally, and just have that help to build her character. Like, it shouldn't define her character, but I just think, like I said, the companions, they have become so samey, and I think Russell could, even if she's modern day, actually, this is a benefit if he can write it well. Like, obviously, that's a massive thing here. Well, it all depends on the writing completely. But
I looked at it as it's quite unique, because it's when you say in there, like, I agree. A lot of them companions that we've got now are always from modern day, and they always seem to have very similar backgrounds, and they all seem to be quite similar. So the fact that she's deaf doesn't have to be a disadvantage. It could actually be an advantage for her character.
It could really give Russell a lot of different ways to write things, different situations, and with it not being like the modern, like Chibnall's way, which is I'm gonna have Ryan have dyslexia, mention it now and again, and forget about it. Like, so that's what I mean. It could benefit, and I know some would probably see that who are a bit more certain way in the fandom and scream, "Oh, it's woke," but it's not. It's actually taking somebody who's got a very different life experience and actually us seeing that on screen. And I can't help but think having that different life experience would mean when she would come across the more fantastical things, we would see that, and it would be actually something that would just make it more interesting to watch naturally. So I don't think, honestly, if she is cast and it's modern day and it comes up, I actually don't think that's a bad thing at all. Because
Yeah,
Russell,
I think they could.
Russell
Sorry, you go ahead.
Russell knows that for a character to work, they've got to get multiple like threads, like levels to them and different aspects. And this could just be one aspect, which just makes her a little bit different.
Yep.
Yeah, but he'll do again. You know, there's the difference between, and this is where I think fans need to kind of separate the two.
Yes.
Chibs does it completely differently to the way RTD does it, and you just have to look at his force there. But I think what's happening is because of the way Chibs has done things, people are just automatically assuming.
Yes.
And in fairness, you know, RTD hasn't helped the situation. Let's be feckin' honest about it. But people are automatically assuming that his doctor's going to be gay, that she's going to play a deaf companion and all of this other nonsense. You don't know, aren't you?
Oh, no, we don't know at all, because as people have pointed out in the chat, Cheryl said she has hearing aids, she has plenty of other things. That doesn't mean she's the same capability as any other companion.
And even if it is brought up, though, Charlotte, we know it'll be done with respect and properly because, again, RTD has a track record of doing it that way. You know? See, I think that the people are jumping too much the gun because of what's happened the last 5 years because of Chibs. This is why I'll never forgive the man, because we can't shake what he's done.
No, he's made the fandom very sensitive.
Yeah.
To certain things, which if Moffat did it, if Russell did it in his first run, it wouldn't get the same response. I honestly believe that.
Mm.
I also think that it's I think because I can't see how people would see it woke, because it's not like it's not like as if it was like a trans companion or a black companion. It's just deaf. It's not quite in the same bracket. If you get what I mean, it's quite sort of different territory. It's of a condition, yes, but I can't see how it could be weaponized.
No,
or like over politicized, like as if she was like a trans. If it was trans, that's a slightly more politicized, bigger issue. But it's just she's just deaf. Like I don't know how else you could how else that could be perceived by fans, if that makes sense.
Well, the problem is you've because of Chibnall, because of also the media. I think they're a big reason what Noel was talking about. They have put it in people's heads that people who might happen to have whatever it is different about them, just whatever that that Chibnall and the media have put it in people's heads that everybody who's got something different about them, that's the pure reason they would be cast.
Exactly.
And it's
you put it in a way that I've been trying to put it. That's exactly why I'm angry, and I go crazy about this, because that's it. That's exactly, you've hit the nail on the head there. I'll just let you continue, but I just wanted to say that because that's exactly what's happening here. Yeah, and it's sad because the media are playing a bad part in this, and they're not they're not helping the RTD situation or this era out by keep bloody talking and focusing on that. Focus on the fact that she's a great actress.
Yeah,
And
no,
that she's deserving of the role because of her acting ability. Same with Shooty. Focus on that. Nobody gives a shit that he's black and gay. Nobody gives a fuck that Rose is fucking deaf or whatever. Nobody gives a fuck. Are they good in the role? That's what we give a crap about. That's all we give a crap about.
It's like Freema Agyeman, who was Martha. She was cast because you could Russell knew that he wanted a certain way that Martha was going to be, and she nailed it. You can just see that in her performance. That he wanted to do a bit of a sort of... She was a bit of a rebound. She was a bit like trying to yearn for the Doctor. But once she realised that she wasn't going to get that, she actually toughened up. She actually really became very independent and could do pretty much anything she wanted. And that's what he was looking for. And Freema delivered that. It was nothing to do with the colour of her skin.
No, but I will say that there were some elements in the fandom at the time, because I remember it, that were a bunch of racist assholes. And then she actually knocked it out of the park and shut them all up. But, you know, we can't... Look, RTD has a proven track record. You know, everybody thought when you cast her that that would become the main focus, but it wasn't. Okay, he did do the episode Human Nature, Family of Blood, but that was written by Paul Cornell. But Geek Union says you don't have any credibility. Well, you know, that's, you know, look, you're entitled to your opinion, of course, but you're wrong.
What's the earlier? Go to the start. Go to the
Oh,
start.
I
of the
know
stream
they
to
should
find
go
out.
to the start of the stream,
Yes.
but he moved. He came in the middle of the stream. God love him, or God love them, whoever they are. But listen, here's the thing, right? I don't care whether you think I have credibility or not. I just wanted to show everybody that I do, and I do have credibility. And I know that probably upsets you because it's big bad and all from the TARDIS zone, because I'm a racist, I'm a homophobe, I'm sexist, and I'm this big white supremacist, as you all say. But that's not the reality of the situation. So, Geek Union, I'm sorry that you feel
Uninformed.
you feel useless and stuff, and you feel like your life means some, you know, you try to get some worth out of your life because you're here trying to tell me that I've no credibility. Listen, stop being a sad little chap, yeah, or whoever you are, sad chap, girl, whatever you identify as, right? Go back to the start of my video, shut your mouth, listen to it, and then come back and apologise to me. All right? If not, get the fuck out. Yeah? No time for any of you little knobheads anymore. Anyway, go ahead, guys and girls. Oh,
Yeah,
there's Cheryl.
No, but another thing somebody said in the chat, it probably, if she has been cast, probably a factor is her chemistry with Shooty. I can't see Russell not factoring that in, because you need to have that with a Doctor and companion.
Absolutely. I think a companion Doctor relationship is vital, because if there's no relationship at all, then it's what is the point of it? It's like with the whole Doctor and Yaz thing. It's like Yaz was so pushed to the side in series 11, criminally underused, and now it's just this forced shoehorned in. Now all of a sudden they're together, and now they've got the hots for each other. In the third from last episode, cramming it in at the last minute, it feels forced, and it just feels fake, because it feels like Jodie never really had any sort of deep personal connection.
Yeah, whereas
to
you
them.
compare Tennant and Billy Piper, like those two sparked off each other on screen. They didn't even have to have a lot of dialogue, and you just bought that relationship.
Yeah, I mean, she had the chemistry with Christopher Eccleston, but I think when David Tennant came along,
it was
that chemistry was even more. But that chemistry was even more for some weird reason, and they did. It was electric. You're right, it was electric, and I think that's why probably RTD, when he's seen how electric it was, he decided to kind of play up on the romance part of it.
Yeah.
Especially Donna as well. You see how much them two were, how they were
yeah,
together.
I
You could
mean,
tell they
that's-
were
that's-
best friends. You could. They
Listen,
sound
that's
like
my
people.
favorite. That's still my favorite Doctor companion team, and I don't think in New Who any companion or Doctor has come close to those two. I would say Bill Potts maybe with
Yeah, I would say
Peter
yeah.
Capaldi, because you had that student professor relationship, and that was nice, and I loved that. But I do seriously, for me, the best companion Doctor duo will always be in New Who anyway.
Mm.
David
It's like
Tennant
when
and Catherine Tate.
it's like whenever do you? I mean, I remember one scene, but it's like how often do you remember like Ryan and the Doctor sitting down having like a proper conversation or having that much dialogue with each other? Really,
They don't, and that was the issue we've said from the beginning with having 3 companions. But it looks like this is another thing which is interesting. Obviously, if this is true, it looks like we're going back to a Doctor and 1 companion.
awfully. And even when the Doctor,
What it looks
even when Graham and the Doctor like looked as if they were about to have some sort of personal moment, she just blunts it off, with the social anxiety.
In
She
fairness,
rejects
though, right? If it had been Graham and Ryan,
Yeah,
in the
that would have
TARDIS,
worked.
I think that would have worked. To be quite honest, I don't think there was a need for. I hate to say it, but I don't think there was a need for Mandip Gill in the TARDIS.
I agree
at
there
all.
actually, because at least with Ryan and Graham, they were connected to the Doctor because of the whole losing Grace, and they were tied in with her. Yaz sort of felt like she didn't have to be there. She didn't have to come along. She could just go back to being a police officer. There was no wait for her.
Cinnamon, it just felt like she was bored, didn't it? And she's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
I'll do this."
I was like,
Might as
I used
well.
to go to school with Ryan when I was younger. I mean, this was like tag
Yeah.
along.
See,
You with
it
your
kind of,
granddad.
but it made sense that Ryan and Graham would travel with the Doctor after what happened. What was her name? Grace.
Yeah,
I keep
Grace.
saying-
Grace
yeah.
died.
I finally got her name right. I used to call her Alice. Who the fuck is Alice? Anyway, Grace. But when she died, you could understand then why they went with her in the TARDIS. But I never understood why Yaz tagged along. I mean, there was no need.
Because of what I said, she had nothing else to do.
Yeah, I mean,
sick
for
of
a,
a job as it
police,
was
a
anyway.
community police officer or wherever she was the worst fucking police officer I ever bleeding seen.
No, but like I said, if it looks like we're going to get a Doctor and 1 companion again, I'm actually looking forward to that because you can really build something a lot easier, and you can really flesh out your companion a lot more when you've just
And
got
the
one
Doctor,
of
for
them.
that matter, because I saw
And
a
the
really
Doctor,
good
because I
article.
think that's
I saw
what
a really
Whittaker's
good
Doctor.
article.
Yeah, Whittaker's.
I
Look,
thought-
I will say this. Yeah, I don't like Whittaker's Doctor because she's being written better by Chris Chibnall and actually given better dialogue and put more focus on her. Absolutely, but this is why he brought in all of these other companions. I'm sorry, but the bottom line is that he knew her limitations. This is why I believe she should never have been cast, because he knew her limitations, but he cast her anyway. So to compensate for that, he brought 3 companions into the TARDIS. And then what happens then is because you have 4 people in the TARDIS then, you've got to, in each episode, to try and balance out each character and flesh out each character. And that's going to be very hard. And we've seen it happen. I mean, Ryan's supposed to have a disability, right? Dyspraxia or whatever. I can never say
it
the
was
word.
dyspraxia.
Right. Featured once or twice or something it was, right? He was even literally able to pick up a gun and do a bit of a Call of Duty scene. Do you remember
like how
that ridiculous scene?
they call when he was playing basketball and he missed a shot in like the first episode, but then right at the end of the episode he was able, or right at the end of the
and then
season, he was
falling
able to
off
make
his
the.
bike.
They
Falling
call
off
that
his
character
bike.
development.
Yeah,
Apparently.
that's character development apparently. Then Yaz was supposed to be a cop, right? But where did he utilize that in the series? He never did. It was until I think it was the Tesla episode where she did a little bit of investigating. But even then, it wasn't even convincing.
It's like it's only ever brought up to suit the plot.
And then we get on to the Graham O'Brien. He's a guy that's just lost his missus, right? And he met his missus because he had cancer, and through chemo they fell in love, blah blah blah. And then you have that horrible scene with the Doctor. And still to this day, I'm just gonna say it, people still defend that scene. That scene is disgusting, but it also epitomised and highlighted the flaws in this era and the fact that Chris Chibnall didn't understand the character of the Doctor. He may be a fan, right? And we may all be fans, and we may all think that we know who the Doctor is and stuff. To a certain extent, we do. To a certain, you know what I mean. But this was a man that clearly didn't, and didn't understand what the Doctor was and who the Doctor, you know, what the Doctor
And clearly
was
not
all
the
about.
audience as well, because when I saw people defending that scene, and they were saying, "Oh, but people are socially awkward like that," I said, "Well, yeah, but the Doctor's not you, otherwise, is it? No, the Doctor's this
no, I'm
highly
sorry.
intelligent."
If you want to defend that scene by saying, "Oh, not everybody could like have an inspiring speech or could say the right words," okay, then she could have physically done something. She could have hugged him.
Exactly.
That doesn't require any words. She could have gone, "Do you know what? I'll take you to hospital, blah blah blah, and I'll have you checked out."
That's all. And
That's
you know
all
what?
she needed to do. It
You
didn't
know
need
what?
a
Fans
speech.
wouldn't have gave out about that then. That scene would have actually had more of an impact in a positive way than the negative impact that it had.
Yeah, and also it would have shown what that defense is actually a better version of that defense, which is, oh, it's showing that, like I said, we can't all say the right words, or we're not all good at comforting people. Okay, then you show actions then. Or
Yeah, but they could have done that, and then she
alternative.
turn around and say, even though I'm not good at this, I'll bring you to a hospital or
Yeah,
whatever,
exactly.
or the hug or something like that. They still could have done it. But then the
I find it a
BBC
little
to come out and
unbelievable.
defend it is another thing. Go
I
ahead.
find it a little unbelievable, you know, with everything the Doctor's been through, never done, and never said, and out of the thousands of years that they've been alive, I find it a little bit difficult that the Doctor can't say something like, "Oh, come on, Graham, we've been through a lot together. You've lived through impossible situations. You can beat this," or something like that. Little, or like you say, even then, just give him a hug, because even then the silence doesn't have to say anything, because that will, if anything, sometimes silence says more than words. And like have the camera panning on her face and have some music in the background. And then I would actually respect and actually like her character a lot more if she had said some sort of kind sort of word. It doesn't have to. It's not that hard. People like to make excuses for anything.
Yeah, but the problem is, like any other Doctor, they would have also known their companion. They would have known what to say, and it came across to me almost that Jodie just didn't have a clue, her Doctor, in that moment, how to comfort him on a more personal level. And that's what I'm saying. The Doctor companion relationship, it's so integral and it's so important. And the Doctor is a weird mixture with their companions in the past, because you can get that sense of duty when the Doctor talks about, "Oh, I've got a duty of care." That's been talked about a few times with companions. So you've got that as more, like I said, the less emotional based response, which is, I've let you come on my ship. I've let you go on these crazy adventures where you could get killed. So I need to look after you. So you've got that on that level. Then you've got the fact that the Doctor has been traveling with whatever companion you choose for years, maybe with some Doctors, or even shorter, but they've been traveling with them. So they built up a relationship. They built up links with one another. Whether that's Amy when it was Raggedy Man and she had that very childlike connection with Matt's Doctor, whether it was Rose who just hated her life and saw the Doctor as this ultimate escape, and she was thankful for that and she loved that, and that's what got her a bit cocky at the end. Or you go to Classic, where you've got Sarah Jane, who's a journalist. She's inquisitive. The Doctor can allow her to see so many things, and that inquisitive nature can be nurtured. That's what I mean. There's a personal connection, and there was none of that with Jodie and her companions whatsoever. And
I'm currently thinking about the line that 12 said when he said to Clara, "When you threw the keys in the lava." I can't remember the exact quote, but he's like, "Do you think?" He said something like, "Oh, do you think that little of me that I wouldn't do something or something like that for you?"
Oh, something like, do you think so little me that I would abandon you or something.
Yeah,
that's
something
right.
like that.
Yeah, that was the line, and that's what I mean. Every other doctor, including Patrick Troughton's doctor back in the day, there's a scene in the Macra Terror
Yes.
where they're walking down, and he first he gives out to her, and then he holds her hand and he gives her a bit of comfort. That's what the doctor does. The doctor, in times of crisis and in times of need, that's when the doctor comes to that. That's when the doctor, you see the good of the doctor, right?
Yes.
Because they always know, even with Peter Capaldi being as socially awkward as he was, there were times where he stepped up to the plate. This version of Jodie Whittaker's doctor did not step up to the plate. She had no problem letting people die for her cause, right? And we seen it. She was pretty cold. And I'm sorry, someone on Instagram says that I actually owe Jodie Whittaker an apology. For what? For what?
It just made it look pathetic. Like how he's every other incarnation has had their own pros and negatives of what they can struggle to do. But, Peter Davison probably would have said something like, "Oh, have Braveheart" or something.
Or
But it's like,
Braveheart, or
it's like
or even like I can see Troughton, if he wasn't being like Noel said in that scene, he would be jokey. He'd do that a lot with Jamie. They like, you can tell when they were both stressed or when they were both in a situation that they weren't quite sure about that they're going to get out of. They'd have jibes. They'd say like that was how they dealt with it.
Exactly. It just goes to show you that if you give the show to someone like Chibnall, you are really, you're heading to, look, the RTD is a fan, but he understood the doctor. Moffat, even to a certain extent, yes, I do have problems with his era, but he was a fan. You could tell he loved it. But with Chris Chibnall, you couldn't say that. It looked like every time he wrote for Doctor Who, he hated writing for Doctor Who. And even his behaviour over these last couple of months have actually showed you how little he thinks of Doctor Who. Absolutely no promotion for this centenary. It's like as if he's left and he does not give two hoots. But yeah, we still have people defending this guy. This guy may be a Doctor Who fan, but he's one of those Doctor Who fans that think they know and understand the Doctor. He doesn't.
Well,
he never did. I'm sorry.
Do you know what I think it is, Noel? I think he thinks he knows better.
Yes.
Than anybody
it's not
else
a democracy.
That's gone before him. He does. He's a fan, but he's got that ego that you see in a fan sometimes, where it's like, my understanding is the definitive, is the one that matters. And it's like, no, Chris, that's if there's lots of issues with the current era format, but if I'm being perfectly honest, the one that's been the hardest for me is seeing this character call themselves the Doctor on screen, but act in such disrespectful, cold, vindictive, selfish ways throughout the whole of her era. But she still walks around and says she's the Doctor. And it's like, no, you're not. Because there's so many instances where you have either, like we said, you let other people die for you on a dime. The reason why that scene with Bernard Cribbins and David Tennant in The End of Time, why there's a reason fans remember that scene when he's having the tantrum and then he stops and he looks at Wilf, and Wilf is begging him. That's the other thing. It's not because he's basically giving the Doctor an out. He's saying, no, I'm old. You can still do so much more. Just let me die. He's basically okaying the Doctor to leave him, to sacrifice. But do you know what Tennant does, or Ten does in that moment? I said once he's had his tantrum, but he calms down. He looks at him and says, "It would be an honor." That is
heartbreaking. I will say though, that line, even though I kind of hate that scene myself, because he's going, "Why me?" and all, and blah blah blah. But that moment where he just looks at him, he puts the look on his face and he kind of stiffens his upper lip, and he looks at him, and you see fucking Wilf begging him not to open the
Yes.
door, and he just goes, "It'll be my pleasure, and it'll be an honor if you are my father or something," he says. And I just, that scene alone, right?
Yeah, but
That's
then
what kind of saves the whole why me, is that scene, because you just see Will's face. He's heartbroken, but at the same time you can see how proud the doctor is, because you know he loves Wilf. The doctor loved Wilf. There's no denying that the both of them had
he
love for
adored
each
him.
other. Yeah, and that's why he was willing to make that sacrifice. I just didn't like the way they got to it, but that's why he was willing to make that sacrifice. And that's what the doctor is all about. The
Yes.
doctor isn't a selfish, self-centered, cold-hearted bitch.
You've always got that
See-
moment with each incarnation where because I think with each new incarnation, I think it takes a couple of episodes to get used to it, to adjust, and sometimes you have to look for that defining moment, you know, to say like, oh, that's the doctor. So like in case for Matt Smith, when he's on the roof and he's talking to Traxon, he's like, basically run. He's like,
Right.
yeah, that's it. But it's like with Jodie, that scene, the cancer scene, that could have been her moment where she really sort of
I know,
connected with him.
stood
That
up to
could
the
have been-
plate.
Oh, do you know what? I'm sorry. Let's say the timeless child scene when she does the whole thing of I'm gonna sacrifice myself. I'd like you go off. She literally like sends them on the other TARDIS. They're on the way out. She walks in the middle. She's holding like the two cable things. I can't quite remember what they are. Like, and Sasha's there, and she's like, and the Sasha's like, go on then, do it. I'm sorry, if we make that moment actually her last moment in her final special, and that's why she regenerates. Do you know what, Jodie? I would have actually had a good word for you, or your doctor, sorry, because I would have said, you know what? At the actual last hurdle, you actually did something very doctor-like.
You
You
redeemed yourself.
sacrificed yourself,
Mm.
and also you did it without an audience. You didn't do it to look good. You did it by yourself when your friends were already out the way, and you did it to stop the master as well.
Yeah,
which is
and
something
listen,
Doctor
he
would
might still do that with her for our last episode. She may actually sacrifice herself.
No,
but
but
the problem,
it won't
the
work
problem
now.
is it's too late though. It's too late, and it won't work now because this needed to be seen before she makes that major sacrifice to show that she is willing to sacrifice. I mean, she let your man in Flux, the poor elflet, die. What was his name? I forget his name.
Jericho.
Jericho.
And
I mean,
that
she
kid
just
in
let
the,
Jericho die. She had no problem leaving Jericho there to bleed. That's what I'm talking about. Self-centered. This doctor was written self-centered. Now, that's not necessarily Jodie Whittaker's fault, but I will say this: as an actor or actress, and if you're anyway decent or worth your grain of salt, and you're reading those lines, and even that cancer scene. There's no way that Jodie Whittaker thought that was a. There's no way, man. Come on. Any actor or actress worth a grain of salt would have said, Chibs, I don't think we should do this. This is going to get a bit of a backlash. Maybe we should approach it this way. Any actor or actress worth a grain of salt would have questioned that. But she didn't. She went along with it. And that's what I can't forgive. Because
Here's why I think, though. I think
hold on, I'll sort him out. Go on.
I think the problem is with Jodie, and obviously acting is a job. Like, you do so many different roles. And I'm not saying for every role you need to have like this encyclopedic knowledge of who you're playing. But when you're playing a character like the Doctor, who has got a legacy, who has got so much history, who's got, what, as I see it, a shared memory almost between all those actors, they've each contributed to this shared memory. And if you don't want to get your teeth into that a little bit, you can't do your job. I'm sorry, it comes across to me as we've got an actress who just doesn't understand who she's playing. And that's a mixture of obviously what she's being fed. I agree that she's probably been given completely the wrong advice. But you could have still watched it. Like I said, you can watch that scene of Tennant with Wilf. You can watch Christopher Eccleston when he's when in his final episode, where you can see it's tearing him up, having that choice again, and you can just see it in Christopher's acting, and that he doesn't want to do the sort of destroying the Earth move, but he knows that's better than just making all the Daleks survive. But that's what I mean. You don't have to know the history just to look at that scene and see what Chris Eccleston's doing and going, okay, the Doctor has got this sort of fear in him, this inner fear, which he's battling a lot of the time. That's what I mean. So I don't know. No, I don't think she had the understanding enough to try and say, no, we shouldn't do this.
Probably didn't think twice about it. Probably just said, "Oh, okay."
I just don't know. I just think for me, if Whittaker had actually stood up and took a stand there as an actress and said that she didn't think that this scene, and we heard about it, I think people would have a different opinion on Whittaker. But look, I mean, she wasn't the only one involved in that scene. Obviously, Bradley Walsh was part of that scene as well, and he seemed to have no problem.
Well, the rumor about that is interesting, isn't it? There's a rumor that something in series 12, I think, was the rumor, made him walk off set. Wasn't it?
Yeah, so it could have been that, but we don't know. But look, again, that'll all come out soon because, Chibs and his production people have actually, done a few interviews that have been eye-opening. I didn't think they'd actually, let the cat out of the bag with some of the stuff that they were saying. But beyond no illusion, there's been problems with this era from day one and right until the end. Even now, because you see there's no promotion, there's still, Chibs never gave a crap, right? He never gave a crap about the fans that he was pandering to, and he still doesn't, by the way. And this Tasman thing that he's doing right now is blatantly obvious that he really just will pander to anybody. He doesn't give a crap about the LGBTQ plus community, no matter what he says. He doesn't, because if he did, he would have treated all these characters with respect. He hasn't treated any of those characters with respect. RTD and Stephen Moffat handled these characters better. We got Jenny and Vastra, obviously, in the Moffat era, and then obviously we had John Barrowman and others that showed up, Alonso in the RTD era, all handled with care, all great characters, all developed properly. Chibs just said, all right, let's see how many boxes we could tick. Let's get them all in, and we won't even bother giving them character development or story. And let's introduce a gay character and kill him off within 20 seconds. And that's exactly what happened in, what was it? Not Eve of the Daleks. What was the other Dalek? Was it Revolution or the other one?
The first one was Resolution. Are you talking about that one?
Was a Resolution where your man comes out and says, "Oh, I have my boyfriend's waiting at home with me," and then the Dalek exterminates him after being on the screen for 20 seconds. There's even actually a page up justice for whatever your man's name was because he was on screen for 20 seconds. That's your representation right there. And then we get RTD's Captain Jack, which has actually been in Doctor Who episodes and has ended up with their own spin-off. That's how you develop an LGBTQ plus character in the Doctor Who world. If you're going to do it, you do it the way that RTD did it. Simple as that. The lack of respect, and he still gets defended. This is what annoys me. The lack of respect. Look, don't defend him. If you love Jodie Whittaker's Doctor, that's fine. But don't defend someone that actually writ her poorly because she's doing Jodie Whittaker a disservice. Listen, years later, years from now, this era will be looked at again, right? And there'll be retrospective reviews done on it. And I'm telling you, in a few years' time, people will be coming out and criticising Chibs.
Oh, no, they're doing it already. So in a few years' time, it will be complete and utter, I think in a couple of years' time, this era is going to be reviled because of what it stood for. because
Yeah.
of how it did the characters, the writing, the canon issues.
You've even
And-
said it's aged quite badly as well, haven't you?
Oh, it has. I've watched it. I watched The Woman Who Fell to Earth again. I actually was able to get through it this time. But I'm gonna tell you now, Series 11 has aged pretty badly. Compared to Series 12 and Flux, Series 11 looks really, really bad. I couldn't believe how bad it looked, and it's only a few years back. I mean, I'm watching the RTD era, as you know. Even the CGI and that seemed to be, and yes, it has aged. I'm not going to sit here and lie and say it hasn't, but it's aged better than the CGI in the Chibs era, and that is fucking startling to me. That is startling to me for several reasons, but I'll just give you one. Chibs had the bigger budget, than the two of them put together, and yet couldn't sort out the special effects. Really, really bad. Really, really bad. I was actually shocked. I was really, really shocked. And you know what? I will say this. Did I hate The Woman Who Fell to Earth as much as I hated it the first time around? No. I don't know what it was, but I wasn't as angry when I was watching it this time round. The thing that did make me cringe is when she did the whole "I'm the Doctor" speech on top of the crane. That was still cringy. But up until that moment, the episode was actually a decent fucking episode. There was a lot going on. You had Salad Man, he just got murdered. Do you remember that? Justice for Salad Man, or what was it, Kebab Man, or whatever it was.
I think it was.
But watching it again, the first episode, because a lot of people did review it and said it was actually decent. I was actually very angry with it at the time that when I did my review, I fucking hated it. But if I was to review that now, I would probably give the first episode a 7 out of 10.
See, for me, it was just boring. That's what I can remember. I've not gone back to watch it, but of my first viewing, I can just remember by the end just feeling a bit like that's it. Like, this is your first female Doctor, and you've given her a really pathetic villain. No real, like we said, compare that to Matt's first episode, where he was in a little village. He didn't have a Sonic. He was still a bit boggled with the regeneration, and he had the Atraxi. Like, he had a massive task in his first episode. And Moffat has talked about this, that he did that on purpose because he really wanted to put Matt's Doctor like up against it.
20 minutes to save the world, wasn't it?
Yeah, and he had a time, like an actual good countdown. Like, there was but then Jodie's like, what was her threat? Some alien with teeth in his face going after one fella, and she had to just stop him from getting this one fella.
Yeah, see that bit again. That villain was good up until it took its mask off. But again, then to actually not, this is the flaw of Chibnall's writing. So you bring in that character, right? Okay, and then you forget about that character completely, but then you bring him back for a season finale, and it makes absolutely no sense because you haven't been laying the breadcrumbs all the way through. That alone should show people how, he just, I don't know what it is with Chibs, but he maybe had some great ideas on paper and looked great on paper, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it'll translate well on screen. And I think that was the problem. And he also did make the startling revelation that he couldn't even concentrate on his own episodes because he had to keep an eye on the people that he had hired that weren't up to the task, right? So he literally admits that he brings in people that don't have the experience to write the show. He couldn't concentrate on his own episodes because he had to keep an eye on what they were writing, so his own episodes apparently suffered. Now, if that is true, and I would actually believe that, if that is true though, then why did you get rid of the people that actually had experience and bring in people that hadn't zero experience writing for Doctor Who? If you're going to bring in a bunch of soap writers to write Doctor Who, you're in trouble. You're in trouble.
I've
So
got a
he-
cynical reason why.
Go on, can we give you a cynical reason?
Because he knew if he got anybody from the previous teams, they would challenge him. They would
They
go,
would, yeah, and they probably.
Chris, maybe we should do this, or maybe that effect could look a bit better. Because they were at that point, whether you're taking from Russell's crew or Moffat's crew, they were very comfortable. They knew their craft. They were experienced people. So I can't see that sort of experience allowing some of the mistakes that Chibnall did. Even if it's just a few things they would like choose what to fight him with. Like, even if it was just, like I said, something that they were like, right, okay, you want Tim Shaw, okay, that's your villain. Chris, you need to make him more built up if you want to use him for your finale.
Exactly.
He had a good
Exactly. And
thing
I think,
going. As soon as I saw the teeth, I lost it. Or I lost
well, I
it.
mean, it made no sense. I mean, what a ridiculous fucking alien, though. You know, cavity man, as I called him at the time.
They were going for like
I-
a predator type thing, wasn't it? When the predator kills a creature, he takes his skull or something as like a trophy, but it was like teeth of all people. All
Like,
things,
you could
teeth.
understand, it makes sense, but it just looks ridiculous. I mean, keep the mask on, as I said. He looked so much better with the mask on. As soon as he took the mask off, that's it. Everybody started laughing. I even remember that first episode, everybody was slagging that particular the fact that he had teeth. I was calling him Cavity Man at the time.
Yeah, but here's a simple fix, Jibs. Use animal teeth. They're actually scary looking. Like, if you would have had like proper long, like
Shark teeth or something.
like canine, like really like what you get like a lion or like a shark or something decorated, that would have looked better at least. But no, it's because you had human teeth. They looked really daft.
The thing is with the Joe Deere is that like obviously I've watched every single episode when it came out, or the night it aired, and if I didn't, I'd always watch it the next day if I was busy, and that's it. I've always ever watched it once. So like when I saw Series 11, I saw that when it came out. I haven't seen it since, and that was years ago. Same with every other episode. I've only ever seen it the one time when it's on its initial viewing.
I will say this though, out of the 3 seasons that he's done, if I was to pick one that was my favourite, and when I mean favourite, I mean one that was less fucking annoying
Out of the 3.
to me, it would be Flux though. It would be Flux.
Yeah, I'd agree.
There was potential. There was potential there, right? There was a lot of potential there, but again, he fell short. I thought that would have been the Flux thing was a good idea. It was just poorly executed. I do believe that we could have had one of the best seasons from Chibs if he had got his act together. Now, I know some people will say Series 12 was probably their favourite, but Series 11 for me is the one that, it doesn't matter about Series 12 and Flux, because Series 11 is where all the damage was done anyway. People will talk about the Timeless Child and the Fugitive Doctor, but that's not where the damage was done. Series 11 was something completely different to what we had known Doctor Who to be, right? Series 12, he tried to course correct and give us something familiar, the same with Flux. But if you look at Series 11 looks out of place, right? Compared to every other season of Doctor Who. Even with the badness of fucking 12 and Flux, it still resembled something of Doctor Who. But Series 11 didn't. Series 11 is where all the damage was actually done. And it never recovered after that bleeding fucking last episode either of Series 11. I forget the name of it. What was the name of the last episode again?
That's called Colossus or something.
Oh, the Battle of Ross.
Yeah, that one, right? That was one of probably the most worst reviewed, even from the media itself. The media, that was the first time the media actually started to actually not turn on Chibs, but actually say, hold on here now. That season finale wasn't great. What's happening here? And that was the first indication. But then, you know, a bit of time went by, and then Series 12 came out, and then they were back on board with Chibs, because obviously the first episode, Spyfall, have to admit, it's pretty decent. It's the second part.
It's the second part.
It's the second part. Yeah, it was where it falls apart. So look, people need to read, because people say, the time this child did this and the fugitive. No, it was serious. It was Series 11. Series 11 is where it was fatally damaged, and it's been trying to recover ever since then, and it hasn't managed to do that.
It's like it tried to do something new and it wasn't received well, and then ever since then they just try to play catch up.
But this is the thing. I will give him credit for trying something new. I don't think he should be criticised for trying to give us something new. But the thing about it is, if you were going to do something new with Doctor Who, well, then you want to produce some of the best fucking stories that we've seen in years. But unfortunately, that wasn't the case. And then with the poor acting, and I'm sorry, I know we all say Graham O'Brien is probably a companion that we would take forward and all, but let's be honest here. Let's be real, right? Graham O'Brien, Yasmin Khan, Ryan Sinclair were not good enough companions. Bottom line. Dan, not good enough.
The thing is with Graham worked because of Bradley Walsh. That's what it is. We had an actual really seasoned actor who could work above the scripts. Because I still, to this day, my favourite scene in probably if I'm being honest, it probably could be one of my favourite scenes in the whole era, is that scene with Graham when he first goes home. I think it's Arachnid, so I can't remember which episode it is. But it's the first time he's home since he's gone on travels.
He smells the clothes.
Yeah, it's that scene when he's in his house and there's no dialogue. So this is what I mean. This is pure Bradley here. And he just stares at his house. And you can just see in that pure look, like, I haven't got over this. I've sort of been disguising it by going on travels, but that grief, it's not gone. And you can just see it hit him really
I think
hard.
that's his. I will agree with you there. I think that's Bradley Walsh's finest moment in the show, because that scene did resonate with a lot of people. I mean, again, he did go traveling with the Doctor straight away. It didn't have time to mourn.
No, like I said, it was a distraction. It was a way for him to sort of not think about it.
I think it kind of turns into what you said earlier about like that's kind of why he travelled with the Doctor as a distraction. Whereas Yaz is like, okay, I'm just there to tag along.
Yeah. But we knew at some stage he would have to face that. That would, when you do have, people mourn in different ways, or people try to, throw themselves into work. But there is going to come a time where you're going to have to face it. And yes, I did like that he did. Look, Chibs did do some things right, but he did a lot more wrong than he did right, to be quite honest with you. But if we're being honest, none of those companions are good enough to be in the TAR. I'm sorry, they're not. RTD would never have cast Bradley Walsh or Tolson Cole or Mandip Gill.
Oh, I don't know. I could see RT casting Bradley. I could see that. Because I think he would, if he wanted to maybe do an older companion again, if he wanted to do something a bit different. I agree with Yasmin and Tolson. I don't think they would have been cast, but I can see maybe Bradley, because like I said, he's a good actor and he knows his craft. It's like I said, you had that scene in the house, and then in the It Takes You Away episode, that's the scene when he's literally begging, like, the Doctor to, no, don't take it away. Like, I need to still see her. And he knows at that point it's fake. He knows that's not Grace, but he's so desperate to still have her. And you can buy that in Bradley's performance. So I think Russell could have done something.
I don't know. Do you know why I say it though? Because all these companions have been female, and I think, like the Doctor, he believes that the Doctor is male and that the Doctor should have a female companion. I mean, it was not Christian. It was obviously Moffat that brought Rory into the picture, and then we kind of got Air Force proper male companion. I know Wilf was there, but even though we like to consider him a companion, he wasn't officially a companion of the Doctor. See, this is where I'm coming at it from. I don't actually think he would cast a bloke to play the Doctor's companion. I think he's a traditionalist, and I think he believes that the Doctor is traditionally a male, and I think it's the same with the companion. And you know, he could prove me wrong for this era. Obviously, we know about roles. You never know. It could be just one companion. Could be two companions. Because remember, I did put the rumor out there that obviously there'll probably be two companions, not just one. So there could be another companion down the line, and we're only hearing about Rose. Obviously, I've reported on it, but the media now is talking about her. But I wouldn't rule out another companion coming in right now.
I wouldn't. Maybe like second series or something with Shooty and Rose.
Yeah.
Once they've
I hope
established
they
their
stick to one.
relationship and their rapport with each other, Russell could go, right, here's another companion.
He could do that in second series. Introduce another companion. But look, this era of Doctor Who has to be a success, because if it's not, it's done. We still have this one episode. I just wish BBC. Do you know what? I don't even care. Can he's not just drop it on iPlayer? Just get it done, man. Just throw it out now. Get it done. Chip's not even bleeding promoting it. Just throw it out now. Get it done and over with. And we can wait. We don't care. We can wait until whenever RTD. I don't think the BBC actually realise. You know, fans just want to see this. Even the Whittaker fans are just like, at this stage, you just show it now at this stage. Just throw it out, get it done, and over with. But obviously, they're not going to do that. But apparently now, I have to read you actually something, because something's at the breaking here.
Oh, is this the clove thing?
What's it?
There was this rumour that Jodie's going to be wearing previous Doctor's costumes.
No.
Okay.
I have heard that, but again.
Well, I was speaking to Marty yesterday, and he said that he thought that maybe perhaps the clothes that we see Tennant wear, he said maybe perhaps we see Jodie wear them clothes, and then that's how he regenerates in her.
I still think he's regenerating. I think she's regenerating in the spacesuit. This is just rumor that's gone around on these other sites. Nah, there's no way. I'm telling you now,
No.
she's regenerating in that orange jumpsuit. And if she's regenerating into David Tennant, it actually makes sense, because he's the one that wore that orange jumpsuit more than anybody else. And that would be an iconic moment if that happened. Think about it. It would, because he was the one that donned the spacesuit first. So for him to regenerate into that, or for her to regenerate into that and turn into him, I think that would be, look, it's the 60th. It's given us a reminder of what Doctor Who was about, right? Before he does something completely different with Series 14. So he's going to give us familiar here. So I do believe, and I've been, listen, I don't know how long I've been saying it. There's no way she's regenerating with those clothes on, and David is going to regenerate into those clothes. No, she's going to be wearing that. We've already seen the clip of her actually in the little trailer that they did give us. She's in the orange jumpsuit. She's regenerating in that orange jumpsuit.
Yeah, because that beginning stuff, regeneration energy, that's not the regeneration.
That was just a bit. I think that's just going to be like how they did it in Pete Capaldi when he faked his regeneration.
He's copying Capaldi.
Of course,
he's doing what he always does. Yeah, and also, just quickly, with her wearing the costume for David, and then David regenerates, like that suit we've seen. David's very tall and lanky, and that suit is purposely sort of suited for his body shape, which is taller. She's not that, so I can't see that suit working on Jodie.
Well, they'll probably just do it like how they normally do it when the Doctor regenerates. How like magically the clothes fit the size of the new actor, you know.
So here's the news. I'm not putting up the tweet because it's actually someone that's annoying me on fucking Instagram, questioning why I hate Jodie Whittaker, and actually, believe it or not, we have been having a conversation in the comments and it hasn't gotten nasty. But I mean, some of the stuff that they're saying to me is ridiculous. Oh, you can't criticize Jodie, 'cause she's a woman and all, and you're being misogynistic and all this crap. But they have released something from, because TV Zone magazine, as you know, seem to be getting a lot of stuff lately, and I don't know how that's coming. Well, I kind of have my suspicions who's giving them the information, because it's probably the same people that stabbed me in the back that is giving them the information, and they're just going with it. But TV Zone has been told by unofficial sources, so that's why I'm thinking it is actually the people that used to give it to me, because they start dictating who I talk to, and told me that if I didn't stop talking to certain people, that they'd stop giving me source information. But I was lucky I have other sources there as well. But those two can go and jump off a bleeding precipices as far as I'm concerned. But they turn around and says Doctor Who centenary title and poster are set to be released this weekend, and the BBC apparently has declined to comment. Well, I'm just going to say, as a Doctor Who fan, I don't really give a shit what the centenary is called, and I certainly don't give a fuck about a poster. Where's the trailer? Where's the trailer? Nobody wants a poster. We've already gotten photographs, right? And a
trailer.
And a little teaser, right? But where's the actual trailer, or proper trailer? Nobody wants a bleeding poster, and nobody gives a crap what it's called.
Yeah, and also, let's say
I think with the name it can generate excitement, but yeah, we want the bloody trailer. We don't want any other bloody poster.
Well, I'm just thinking about time here. If, let's say, at the weekend they do come out with a poster, then we're going to get possibly a companion announcement a couple of days afterwards. So who's going to give a flying monkeys about Whittaker's poster and episode title?
Yeah, I know. That's the thing. But apparently as well, this is other news as well. So this has been floating about. So Doctor Who director James Strong has had conversations about returning.
Which could mean
he
anything.
He did most of the episodes in the David Tennant era. How would you feel if James was to return?
Anything from the old era, I'm happy with.
Yeah, if he proved his worth during the Tennant era, he's not a name that I instantly think of, but I'm not good with director names. To be fair, it takes me a while. But if he proved his worth during the first run, and it does seem to be that Russell is reaching out to a lot of the old crew, it would make sense. But
if what came before worked, don't try and like they say, if it's not broken, don't fix it. This is something that's worked before. This is people he knows, people he's familiar with. If he wants to work with the same people,
that's it. And he'll have, obviously he has experienced writers in his Bad Wolf production company as well. So a mix of the, see, this is what should have happened. If Chibs wanted to shake things up a little bit, fair enough, mate. But you should have kept some of the old staff to help you, guide you. But as Charlotte has rightly pointed out, I do believe, and it did happen during Series 11, he was called out. This is why Chaos in Cardiff happened. He was called out for some of the stuff that some of the stuff that we spoke about on here. Remember, apparently Rose Tyler was supposed to come back at one stage. There was rumor that she was coming back, and he was going to make her lesbian. Because obviously she fancied the Doctor when he was a man. So they were and then someone apparently on set thought, well, you can't do that, Chibs. And he stormed off, and that's how Chaos in Cardiff all happened.
So no. That makes sense with the whole Thasmin thing.
Mm-hmm.
He just replaced what he wanted to do with Rose with Yaz.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's why he said, I'll play around with it now. And this is the thing that annoys me. None of these people that he's supposed to be, they're the people that he's pandering to. Not one of them is calling him out. He's literally told you that he's going to play around with it, so he's not taking it seriously. He's not taking Tasman seriously. He's going to play around with it. He's pandering to you. But I get accused, you're being homophobic and all. No, I'm not. My point is, if you're going to do something like that, then it must be treated with respect. And the people that are playing the characters, those characters must be treated with respect. So it resonates with the audience.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, if you want to tell a story, whatever story that is, but I think especially personally, if it's a story about a certain community, if it's
Mhm.
about a certain group, which are sort of, they are on the margins in a lot of senses, then you need to pay extra like attention and care when you're telling a story that involves them. It's, and like I sort of said, like we've had the Doctor companion relationship in New Who. We've had two different versions of it. So it could have been another version of it, which could have been very different and could have been just as enjoyable. But no, he's last minute panicked and has realised, oh, if I do like the most tiny sort of minuscule effort, I will get certain defense points. I will get certain people rallying to my side. And no, that you should never do a story to garner favour. That should never be in your head. You should write a
Yeah.
story because you've got a story to write. And they're all guilty of it, that production team, with the Tasman thing.
Yeah, I
Like,
have changed the heading of the stream because obviously we did talk about roles
I
for a
know.
little bit, but we went on a bit of a tangent. Yeah, Cheryl just reminded me maybe you're better off changing it, even though it annoyed me that she said that. But I changed that anyway. So I've changed the heading of the stream. So we're talking about roles and other topics,
Yeah.
basically. So just so nobody gets confused. So I have changed it slightly, but look, it's the next couple of weeks are going to be very, very interesting to see what happens. I mean, it'll be a piss take if Chibnall does actually drop the title of the episode on a poster when literally Rose has indicated that she's going to be
She's going to
announcing
say something.
something at the end of the month, and if it turns out that she is actually the companion, well, then you're right. It completely overshadows what Chibs is trying to do. This is why, throw out the trailer as well, even though I don't think it's going to help anyway, because everybody is focused on the anniversary, not the centenary. But, you'd give it you give it your best welly, give it a go. Show people, at least show these fans that have supported you that you're interested.
Yeah, that's the problem. You can tell he's checked out now. And the problem is, we've got a checked out showrunner and a BBC, which is acting like they're ashamed of the current era. So you've got both sides. You should be doing some promotion. You should be roaring like the fandom up, getting them excited. Both sides have just gone, nah.
I think it'll be fine though, because I'll tell you why. Not the centenary, but I think we'll be fine because I still gonna say this, even though some people are disagreeing with me right now. But look, I'm pretty good at predicting these things. I'm telling you, there is a special happening with RTD this year. I'm convinced of it. I'm convinced that this whole 60th anniversary thing, because it's multi episodes, is going to kick off this year. I don't think they're going to leave the end of the year with this centenary special, because this centenary special is going to cause an awful lot of debate. There's going to be, the fandom is going to be, as I said, the shit is going to hit the fan either way, because one side will be unhappy about something. If Tasman doesn't work out exactly the way those fans want it, they'll be angry. And then you'll have our side that'll be angry because Chibs is probably going to double and triple down on the whole timeless child nonsense. So I don't think BBC are honestly going to leave it like that for the end of the year, because it'll be just too toxic. They'll want to put something out there that will bring the fans together. And the fact that they've even reported that RTD is in talks to bring back the Christmas specials, they didn't need to announce that this year. They could have announced that next year, because there's no rush, right? But they've announced it already. So I'm telling you, I've planted my flag on this one. I've been saying it for months. I truly believe, and this is not because of that I was given. even though I was given stuff because we spoke about it. But I honestly do believe it's going to happen. I believe because this episode is going to be so divisive. Either way, it doesn't matter. Either way, this episode's going to be a shit show. BBC are not going to want to leave it. And RTD certainly won't, because he will understand, because it will affect. There is going to be, this is what I mean. This is why I hate the fact that we have this centenary, because Legend of the Sea, that had been the last episode, it'd be actually all right, because, you know, there was nothing controversial that happened in that. That was just shit. You know what I mean? But because we have this big cloud, storm cloud over our heads, we know what's coming. Either way, both sides of the fandom are going to be this happy. So he needs to put something out. I firmly believe RTD does need to do that. I do, because if he doesn't and he leaves it and BBC leave it, I don't think you're going to have people lynch. I don't care what he does. I don't think you're going to have people.
Well, I've got a question. If he can't get the Christmas slot, because at the end of the day, it has been lost.
Yeah.
And the BBC are going to have to think about who they give it back to.
Yeah.
So it's not a dead cert Russell's going to get it. It's not. But do you think maybe then that the same idea what you're saying, that they'll want to do something? Do you think maybe, because I think a lot of filming for the 60th has been done at this point.
Yeah, I agree.
I think there's a lot which has been done undercover in closed sets.
Yeah.
Maybe if Russell can't get the Christmas slot, do you think maybe they could release a scene or a clip or do something to give us a tease for the 60th?
No,
and drop that around.
I actually think he'll go one better. I actually think if he can't get the Christmas slot, he will actually drop the first episode on the anniversary.
Drop it when then?
This year. We got an anniversary this year. It'll be 59 years young.
So November.
November. I reckon if he can't get the Christmas spot, he will start it on the anniversary and finish it on the 60th. So he'll start it on the 59th anniversary, which is coming this November, and he'll finish it on the 60th if he can't get the Christmas spot.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just thinking, because with Moffat, we would get specially filmed scenes that were never in the series. They were just for promotion, or they were just like teasers or little things. So I don't know if maybe Russell will want to think about
it, right? Because this all fits, Charlotte, right? So if they do it my way, start the first episode on the 59th anniversary, 59th year, right? Finish it on the 60th, right? We already know that Shooty is filming this November, right? Filming, say, finishes. I'm just giving an estimate, right? I'm not saying this is when it'll finish, but just let's say, for example, filming finishes in June. So they start in November, filming finishes in June. Shooty, that was first episode, will drop Christmas 2023.
Oh, so I can see Shooty's first. Yeah, I think he's going to try and do Christmas.
Yeah, but this is why I think, because it's a multi-episode 60th anniversary special, this is why I'm saying it has to happen this year, personally, because then you're giving yourself some breathing space then. So you started off, if you don't get the Christmas spot, you started off in November, you finish off in November, then you've got a few weeks then, and then Christmas Day, then you drop his Shooty's first episode. See, I don't think there can be too much time between the 60th and Shooty's first season being dropped, because the way the fandom is. And I think RTD would recognise that, because, you know, he's a clever man, Charlie. You know that. He can read the fandom. He's probably, since he's been hired, has been probably watching the reaction of the fans to this era, but the reaction to his comeback as well. And he'd have all of that in mind. Look, he's a very clever man. I'm still pinning me flag that we're going to get a David Tennant episode this year. I honestly believe that we'll get a David Tennant episode this year. I don't think they can leave it. I know some people were saying after the centenary we need a little break. I don't think so. I think this episode's going to be so divisive. It's going to be so fucking, the fandom is going to be so toxic after it that he will need to do something
Well,
ASAP. Now, we could drop a trailer, like you said, Charlotte. In fairness to you, you do make a good point. There could be a trailer that could appease the fans to a certain extent. But I don't think in this current climate, that's enough. I think he needs to give us more than that. That's why I think it will happen.
Well, I was going to say, have you heard the rumoured title for the centenary?
No, I haven't heard what it's supposed to be called. No. What's it supposed to be called?
The rumoured title is The Lives of the Doctor.
Oh, I have heard that.
Title.
I have heard that. Yes, I have actually. But I mean, when I did hear that, actually, I was like, actually, that would be a Chris Chibnall fucking title, wouldn't it?
Yeah. And for me, because we were chatting about this on Type 40 last week, it hints towards the Timeless Child stuff, and we've all said this. He's going to have to do something with it in the centenary. So that title would link to that.
This is why I just want this episode to drop now, so we can just, see what kind of a train wreck it is, what effect it's going to have on the fandom, and then, go from there. But the fact that we still have to wait, I mean, don't get me wrong, we're in August now, we're coming to the end of August, September, October. I mean, we're only 10 weeks or something, 11 weeks away from it dropping, right? So it's not even that long, but it seems like a fucking eternity. It seems like we've been waiting a very long time for that. They've dragged this out.
Yes.
And there was no need. There was no need.
Finished. We should have done Flux.
But
one special and then gone.
But I think it was done deliberately to give the RTD the time. I honestly do. I swear. I am convinced we're getting a David Tennant episode this year. And I know there's some, Marty has done a couple of spaces and there were a couple of people in that actually disagree. They were given their own timeline. But for me, that's the timeline that actually makes sense. If you take everything into account, the way the fandom's behaving, the way this episode, the reaction this episode's going to get, because it is going to get a negative reaction on either side. Right? That's a guarantee, because he does the Tasman thing. Obviously, people are going to complain about that. If he doubles down on the Timeless Child and all of that, and then does what everybody thinks he's rumoured to do, which is put Joe Martin before William Hartnell, well then, trust me, this fandom is going to be in uproar. And I honestly believe that RTD's biggest mistake will be not to throw something out there this year, at the end of this year, because this era of Chibnall's is just like a dark cloud hanging over us, and it's got to stink, and it's going to have some effect on the RTD era. So he has to give himself the best chance that he can, and the best chance that I believe that he has is if he drops an episode this year, and then next year, then maybe Easter, get the next one. There's, leave it on a cliffhanger. Everybody's all excited, and then we're all dying for March or Easter to come along, April, whenever Easter is, right? Then we get that episode, ends on a cliffhanger. Think about, we'll be all excited then for the next. That's the way, in my opinion, and this is just me speculating, that's what I'd like to see happen.
Well, let's be fair. He, considering he's doing multiple episodes, he would be a bit daft not to do like a cliffhanger at the end of each one, because
yeah, I agree.
He's with this format, he's got more freedom as well. He's not doing a Monster a Week's episode. He's not doing a contained story. He's got multiple episodes to tell one story. So he can structure it a lot better and try and get that cliffhanger going on that. Like you said, that, oh God, right, I want to know what happens next feeling going.
This is what I love. I love the fact that we can just all come on here, chat and speculate about what we think is going to happen. And we haven't had that for a long, long time in this fandom. So for that, I do say, and I do thank RTD, because he gave us that back as soon as he was announced. He gave us that back, and that's great. But I don't think. Look, he's a clever man. He'd be analysing this fandom since he was announced, and for the people like Billy who are a bit shocked, they think he might have been given the job in late 2020. Sure, I told you he's already had the job, but you don't want to listen to me because I'm big bad Tarzan. That's a homophobe and a racist, apparently. So I said all of this. It's nothing new. Chibs was out the door. Chibs was supposed to be out the door after Series 11. Yeah, Whitaker was leaving as well, right? You mightn't believe that, but they were convinced to stay by Piers Wenger. I even did a video on it. Right?
Yeah, and then Series 12, they were going
and then
to
Series
go...
12 started up, Chaos and Cardiff and all of that bled over into Series 12, and then the shit hit the fan, right? And they've never been... The production team that's worked with Doctor Who these last few years, there's been problems from day one, and it's all down to the man that hired everybody. He hired the wrong people, and you got chaos, and that's exactly what this era was. Chaos. Look, all of this will come out in the end, and I'll be vindicated in the end, and maybe after I'm dead, everybody will then give me the credit I laid and deserve. But I said all of this. This is nothing.
They'll build statues.
This is nothing new to anybody that's been following me here for a long time. Right? They know I'm not a bullshit artist. I proved at the start of the video, and I'm glad I found that Spyfall video, because that blows the whole narrative of Mr. T and all of these that I'm unreliable. Literally, that video gave everything away.
You literally told us the cliffhanger.
I told you the cliffhanger. I told you what character what Sasha was playing.
Yeah.
He was playing a character called O. He'd be revealed as the Master. I said the plane was going to crash, which the plane was.
All very specific details as
all
well.
Specific.
Really
I told
precise.
you that he was using the TCE, right? He used it as well, right? And look, again, I'm glad I found that video, because it just proves that the embargo photographs is another piece of evidence. But apparently I was lying through my teeth, and I'm a credible of zero credibility. But yeah, a news report that I broke on Rose 3 months ago. 3 months ago. And by the way, actually, just to kind of show the people, because we got a few watching, so I know there are a few people that don't like me and have been in the chat there actually commenting that I have zero credibility. Well, I'll show you me zero credibility now, okay? I'll show you, right? So I have zero credibility. So I'll show you this video from 3 months ago. Right, there's no sound on it, so we won't get a copyright strike. It was the one video where I didn't actually use music on it because I wanted to get it out ASAP. Because as soon as I got the news, I actually threw it out straight away. I didn't hang about, because I was thinking, well, if I have it, maybe some other people have it out there. But then when I seen then after the fact that nobody had reported on it, I knew I was the only one that was actually talking about it. And I was like, I was actually surprised. I have to be honest. I'm not going to lie. I was actually surprised, because normally when I do get stuff a few days later, some other people out there might do a video and make a comment on it, but nobody has actually spoke about her. And I know for a fact they haven't. I was the first one to report this.
No, you were. I can remember, because it just came out of nowhere. This name.
Yeah, it just came. That's what I mean. And I wanted to get it. And I remember I was laughed at. We had that fella that has it in for me retweet me and actually put up one of the rumors that didn't come true, and tried to use that as an example. Well, Noel is unreliable, right? But the thing about it is that, as I said, I had that video out there. It was just I couldn't prove it, because BBC had taken it down, but I had forgotten that I had threw it up on the Doctor Who official, the Spyfall video I'm talking about, just in case people are getting confused. But yeah, I'm glad I threw that up there, because it gives the time, it gives the date that I threw it up, and it was 3 days before Series 12 dropped. 3 days before Series 12 dropped, I gave away the ending, the Spyfall Part 1. I gave away the ending. And
Yeah.
it was word for word. I said Stephen Fry was going to make a cameo. What happened? Stephen Fry makes a cameo. I said that the Master was going to play a character, or Sasha was going to play a character called O, and then he was going to be revealed to be the Master. Again, everything that the TCE that he used, everybody thought was talking through my ass there. It happened. And here's this video on that I did 3 months ago. And I'll show you the date. It actually has 500 views now. So it seems like since I've done my videos, some people have bothered to actually go in and have a look at the video that I first reported. So I want to say actually thank you to those people, but I hope it actually shows you, and that you actually believe me, I should say, that, you know, I'm not a bullshit artist, right? I'm not. I've never come on here to spread falsehoods or lies, right? And I've ever I've even actually said, and I'll show you at the end of this video. So there you go. Rumor, actress Rose Ayling Ellis, best known for playing Frankie Lewis on EastEnders, rumored to be cast as the new companion. Now I'm going to show you the date. So we'll just scroll up here real quickly, right? And I think it shows the date. See, this is what I hate about YouTube now.
Yeah, you have to look down.
I have to go down further. Oh, yeah, to the comment section. So there you go. The comment section without go. So 3 months ago. 3 months ago. Now, on my phone, I think you can actually get the actual date. You just can't get the date here, which is
it's awkward
weird.
now. They've changed it.
They've changed it. They've actually changed it now. But 3 months ago, I broke this, right? So there you go, right? 3 months ago, right? Now, let's continue on. So I said companion, right? Rumored. And then I obviously showed, which you'll see now in a second.
And also, Noel, another detail I've noticed, you've said their 14th Doctor companion.
Mm-hmm.
So you were making sure that you weren't talking about Tennant and the 60th, you were talking about the 14th Doctor.
And there you go. I'll put up some, yeah, and I'll put up some pictures of her.
Because Tennant's companion's Donna.
Mm-hmm. And this is what I said, because, you know, for people out there that accuse me of putting out falsehoods, I says, remember, this is just a rumor and take with a pinch of salt. But again, as I said, 3 months ago, 3 months ago, okay, there it is there in black and white. 3 months ago, I reported on this. There's the heading, rumor, 14th Doctor companion chosen, EastEnders actress Rose Ayling Ellis. And a certain Mr. T, when he seen that I threw up this video, decided to take a screenshot of it and take the piss out of me. So I hope when it does happen, he's humble, but obviously he's not going to give a shit. But as Cheryl said, it'll go to show that you've been telling the truth all the time. And
not only that, I don't know that he went and did that on like the 7 other TikTok or YouTube people that posted that she's probably going to be the next companion.
mm-hmm.
None of those people were incredible, and I know for a fact one of them just watches your streams and just repeats your info.
Lindsay says, this is the only channel I trust for Doctor Who news. I really appreciate that, Lindsay. But look, I mean, is Cinnamon gone?
Yeah, he said in the private chat, but you were talking.
Right, guys, I got to shoot out now. Thanks for having me on the stream. All right, Cinnamon, thanks for popping on. You're a legend. I'll give you your channel and what your social medias. I'll get the lads or anybody in the chat that's a mod, if you could share the links.
Usually good for that.
Yeah. But I use this channel for news, have for years. No Doctor Who news. I use this channel for news, have for years. No Doctor Who news here. I don't know what.
I don't quite get the second bit TARDIS as well.
I don't get what you're.
Do you mean anywhere?
This is the only channel I trust. No, for Who's News.
No, this is.
I use this channel for news, have for years. No Doctor Who news here. There's probably just a word missing.
Yeah, I do that so many times. I miss out
Maybe a
words.
fake afternoon news here.
Yeah, could be that.
It doesn't matter. Anyway, look, as I said, I've proven without a shadow of a doubt. I showed you the Spyfall video on the Doctor Who official account that was taken off. I showed you the screenshot of the screenshot that I took on YouTube when BBC took down my video, right? But I couldn't believe I found that video last night. I had forgotten that I threw it up out a bit. I was so pissed at the BBC, right, for taking it down and wrecking me channel. Because remember, I had a big massive fit. I said, well, fuck them. They're not getting away with this. And I went in and I shared the video on that. But I thought they would have took it down. But they obviously didn't. And I'm glad I found it last night.
Well, it was clear. They obviously just wanted it to be gone while the episode was airing first. And then they didn't care. Because obviously then it was shown and people knew about the cliffhanger.
Let me see. Just a second. I'm tolling over a hot soldering iron. Oh man, he's working on his little creations. No problem, PD. But thanks. I see that you have thrown the channel in there. In the US, they do not talk Doctor Who. That's what you meant. All right, TARDIS Spider. That's yeah. Look, yeah. As I said, you guys know how reliable I am, and I suppose someone said to me on Twitter, no, that's all that matters, really.
Yeah, it really is, mate.
And it is, but I will say this: does it annoy me that I don't get the credit that I think I deserve to get? Look, I'm not saying that people should follow me and subscribe to me because I'm breaking all of this stuff, but it would be nice if some Twitter accounts out there and YouTube channels out there that are covering this kind of stuff just gave me fucking some recognition. I'm not this evil, toxic person that people make me out to be. Can I be a bit of an asshole? Absolutely. Can I be very passionate and forceful with my opinions?
And
absolutely.
Emotional, yes.
I can get very emotional too, but don't think that it's something else when it's not. All it is passion. I wear my heart on my sleeve. I always have when it came to Doctor Who. Even with Manchester United, Cheryl will tell you, I got very angry last week and I actually broke down crying because my team were so bad, right? That I wear my heart on my sleeve. I'm an emotional being. Cheryl would actually say I'm probably fucking too emotional, but I'm an emotional being, right? And I wear my heart on my sleeve. And another thing as well, I don't shy away from my opinions. And I'll back down from the meter. And I'm not going to put them in as people say, well, you should put them in a more problematic way. Or no, what's the word I'm trying to use? You should put them in you should be more, what's it? No, not politically correct. That's not the word I'm looking for. No, not sensitive. Instead of being forceful of putting your opinions out, people believe that I should have been a bit more, what's the word?
Careful?
Not careful. It won't come. Problematic? No, not problematic. What's the word? It's like that.
Oh, I know what word you're trying to say now. I can't think of it.
No, Cheryl's just lost the plot there. She's just said the words. Look,
pragmatic.
Yes, pragmatic, right? They believe that I should be less toxic the way I put it across or whatever they think. But no, right? Bottom line is this, right? That's how I live my life. That's how I am in real life. I don't shy away. I'm not going to sit on the fence, right? I'm not going to actually either tone down my opinions because I might upset other people that I know. No. If I have the opinions, they come out exactly the way they come out. And if people have a problem with that,
we tell him, folks.
Then obviously, if I do cross the line, and a few times I've probably said things, it's happened. We've all done it. But you know what? I still stand by everything I said. I do. Someone says you not want to apologise to Jodie Whittaker for the years of abuse I gave her. What abuse? What abuse? I called her out for doing stupid interviews where she said that Doctor Who was a boys' club I called her out when she said that Doctor Who wasn't
White male
didn't
gaze.
have white male gaze, and also on top of that, that little girls now had a role model because she was the Doctor, right? And then on top of that, then you have Pierce Wenger coming out and slagging one of her favourite doctors. Didn't help the situation. Then you had the stupid glass ceiling video. But the one that actually really annoyed me the most about Jodie Whittaker and why I believe she deserved the criticism that she got, it was that stylist video, right? Because she was only in the job a wet day, and instead of being sensitive towards people that did have a problem with our casting and not understanding that there might be some pushback, she decided to do a stylist video where she read out tweets and starts slagging those people off and making fun of them for not liking her casting.
Yeah, the
and said-
problem is she made enemies way too quick in the
She
fandom.
did. She did. And she even repeated what one of the tweets said. Well, hashtag good riddance, hashtag Dr. 13, right? And that was someone that was supporting her. But she read that out, and that was her sending a clear message to the fandom. If you're not in favour of a female doctor, you are no longer welcome in this fandom, right? And at the same time, they were bragging and preaching for space for all. Remember that? Space for all. It was all bullshit. It was all bullshit. So, no, I don't regret criticising Jodie Whittaker for some of the interviews that she did. I don't regret anything that I said about her acting ability, because I do genuinely believe, whether you believe it or not, I do genuinely believe that she's a shit actress. That's just me. Okay? My standard of actress, right? When I look at great actresses out there, right? For me, Jodie Comer, great actress. Olivia Colman, great actress. Claire Foy, great bloody actress. Even what's her name that played that? What's the show where she plays a bloke, but she's not a bloke, but that old show. She was in Coronation Street. She played, what was her name? She played Karen or so. What's the actress's name? She was in Dr. Foster as well. What's her name? That actress.
Saran Jones.
Jones. Great actress, right? Even your woman Sheridan, I can't think of her first name. Great actress, right? They're great actresses, right? They've got CVs that if Chris Chibnall had picked one of them, even though I will say this, caveat, I do firmly believe that the Doctor is a male character. But if they had went with one of those actresses instead, I probably would have warmed to a female Doctor a lot more.
Well, let's
than
be
with Whittaker.
fair. Then the criticism would have been 100% at the writing.
Exactly.
It would have been 100% at the production team and what they were doing. It would be the acting of the main character.
Exactly. And that's the point that I've always been trying. So no, I won't apologise. So don't be asking me to apologise. I will never apologise.
I'm sorry. We've had a go at male doctors.
That's the point I made. And then they wrote back to me, because this is the Doctor Who tweets that I just read out that rumour. They've been literally messaging me. And the response was, when I said, well, I don't like Colin Baker either, then they came back at me with, well, why do you hate feminists so much? And my response was, well, I'm married to one. Cheryl's a feminist. Like, I'm married to a feminist.
They're just so one-sided. It's like for them, fans like me don't exist.
That's the thing.
We just don't exist. We're this sort of mythical creature that, like, there's no female fans that hate this. No, we all love it.
That's what I'm saying. I'm married to a feminist, and I can tell you for one thing: if Cheryl in any way thought I was a sexist pig as I'm framed to be, she wouldn't be married to me. She's a feminist. She's all for women's rights and equal rights and all of this, and I'm down for that. I don't like the radical feminists, the ones that come in. There's a difference, right? That's the difference. I'm married to a feminist, and I'm proud to be married to a feminist. I'm glad that my wife is a strong, independent woman and wants to, what? Oh, you're talking to Ted. I thought she was telling me to shut up. But, This is the thing. All of this crap that they say about me online is untrue. I'm married to a feminist. I'm proud to be married to a feminist. Right? I love her to bits. Sometimes I don't tell her that, but I should tell her a lot more. But I do love her to bits. Right? And I don't think of her any differently because she is a feminist, because I do agree with her. Men and women should be equal in every way. Well, obviously there's it's a whole big debate because obviously sport and all of this
let's not get into
stuff,
that.
but we won't get into that. But on the whole, I do agree. Women and men should be equal. There shouldn't be any, injustices going on. But unfortunately, it does happen still today in the world. But is it as bad as all these radical feminists are making out today? Absolutely not. And I will stand up for the rights of men. And I'm sorry, that might hurt some, but I will stand up for the rights of men, because in this fandom, particularly with this show, men have been nothing but bashed in Doctor Who, right? And bashed in this fandom for being men, right? And that's wrong. That's not how you go about equality. See, the difference between my wife and the radical feminists is this, is Cheryl wants equality. They don't want equality, the radical feminists. They want everything. They talk about being the same as us, but they don't. They want it all. They want it all. A man and the patriarchy are bad. It's not about being the same and equal. Look at the way they go on, right? There's a difference. So for people out there, just want to let you know, I don't hate feminists because I'm married to one. I just hate radical feminists. The ones that come in with the false narrative, the ones that come in that have harassed, bullied men. Remember, this is the same fandom that had the feminist front, Doctor Who feminist front, right? And other feminist, radical feminist accounts in this fandom at the time. Now, they're gone now because they were taken down. But what were they doing? They were calling out YouTubers, sending death threats to them, right? I even got some of the crap off them as well, right? They even managed to have one of my videos taken down when I called them out. The Sisterhood of Karn got a video. Remember in the early days, they got a video of mine taken down because I called them out, because what they were doing was they were taking screenshots of these people's faces and putting up their personal details, putting up what their YouTube channel and all was, and saying, this is the type of sexist pig that we have to fight, right? They were very, very toxic, but they ended up getting taken down anyway, because one of them was making the claims that they were actually inside the writer's room and controlling the narrative of what was happening in the current era of Doctor Who. And it turned out that this person, unfortunately, had some mental health issues and was living in cuckoo land, basically. None of it ever happened. But they were dismissed very quickly, and then those accounts were taken down. We believe that the BBC had them taken down because they were causing an awful lot of trouble.
They were probably causing more issues than they were worth.
They were targeting. They were targeting mostly male accounts, and they did go after the women as well. And I will say they were actually more vicious with the women that were defending blokes that were saying that it was a male role. I have to say, some of the women in this fandom actually got a lot worse than most people out there. I wouldn't say, look, I'm not bragging here, but I think what's happened to me over the last 5 years, I don't think anybody in this fandom has actually experienced what I've gone through the last 5 years. Out of any, this is seriously, it doesn't happen in any other channels got a little bit of grief, but I got the most grief in this fandom, and it nearly all went pear-shaped because I nearly lost the plot, but I was able to be reeled back in. But I nearly lost it a couple of times over those 5 years because of the constant bombardment. Remember, I had a Twitter account out there that was specifically set up and targeted me originally. Before then, they start targeting other people. But that was set up with over 2,000 members to come after me because of my opinions. So when I do say people have had it worse, yeah, they have. But some people have had it bad. But I've had it, I don't care. People can say that, no, you're blowing smoke up your... I'm not. What I have had to put up with the last 5 years in this fandom, and dealing with what the stuff that was said about my wife as well. Trust
That's
me.
the thing. Like, it wasn't just you.
Yeah.
It was the people around you.
And people don't realise when I was saying this wasn't affecting me and all this. Of course it was. Of course it wasn't. My wife. She was so fucking looking at her being devastated, you know, picking her, wanting to defend her husband as well. This was the thing. You just don't realise. There were a few times that over the years where Cheryl was going to come on and go full nuclear and all because she wanted to defend her husband. And I was just got to the point where it just wasn't worth it. And then she was trying to convince me that, you know, maybe you should back off a little bit and see what happens. This is what I've done, and everything seems to be going great until obviously Billy decided to start up again.
Yeah,
but you know,
but no, just don't talk about him anymore.
no, I'm done now.
Not
I'm done now.
worth.
Yeah,
you,
I know.
You said your piece. We know what you said, and we know why you do the things you did recently. You don't need to justify yourself to anybody.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. You're right. I should stop that. That's probably still one of my weaknesses, though, is that I feel like I still have to defend myself.
That's the thing. Like, you can defend yourself when it happens, but now you've done it. Now we just move on.
Yeah, that's it. Well, I have. I've proven everything tonight now.
Exactly.
So if there still is any doubt, well, then that's on them, not me.
Yep, that's how you got to think about it.
That's it.
It's not up to you how other people treat you. I know it sounds a bit weird, but you can't control other people's actions.
Will anybody be doing a video on London Comic Con? Why? Who's at London Comic Con?
Apparently, Matt Smith. Apparently, Matt's going to be there. So, is that? Oh God, is that JFL?
When is London? When is that happening?
November. Apparently, he's heading to London Comic Con on the 19th and 20th of November. I wonder if it'd be announced by then that he's coming back. Is what JFO's wondering.
Oh, that date, yes.
That would be good timing.
Well, I'll tell you what.
November.
I'll tell you what, TARDIS spoiler. Yeah, as Charlotte has actually told us that when it's happening, yeah, we'll do it. Actually, you know, we haven't done a Doctor Who Comic Con in ages because Chibs hasn't bothered.
It's London Comic Con, so I don't know if they'll do a stream. He might just be there to. I don't know. We'll have to see. If he does anything on stage, we could probably try and watch it.
Or I might fly over myself, go to London Comic Con and do a live show from there. I probably won't survive though, so don't expect me to get out of there alive. But I'll fly over. What do you think? I don't know. I know what Cheryl's going to say. You're going to need a passport first. See? But no, but eventually, maybe in time, because the RTD era is back, because I would really love to go to a Comic Con that he's at with the cast, because it'll be brilliant. And imagine doing a live show from there. You know, it would be absolutely epic. So yeah, we'll see. But we will do, if there is any video recording, because the pandemic is kind of, you know, we've forgotten about that, by the way.
Yeah.
You know, it probably won't be streamed live. But
No,
if it is streamed live, then obviously we will stream it. But if not, obviously there'll be a lot of articles to talk about and a lot of stuff that will be said. So we will cover it. We will cover London Comic Con, whether it's the articles or whether we actually get some live footage. We will cover it. I'm pretty sure maybe Legend of the Travelling TARDIS' channel, they'll probably have someone there at London Comic Con, because they've got people all over the place, so they can easily get someone in there. So, you know, I'm pretty sure there'll be YouTube channels out there that will actually be there.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. London's one of the bigger ones in the UK, so I would not be surprised.
So can't you sneak into Northern Ireland and then come over on a ferry? Right, the problem with Northern Ireland is, because Boris has screwed it all up, is I wouldn't be able to do that. This whole Brexit has kind of screwed up the North. So thank you for that. But I could understand why he's left, because I wish we had left Europe as well. But there you go. We hadn't got the balls to do what you did. But no, can't do that. Can't do that. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. I'm pretty sure. I don't even. Hold on for a minute. I don't even think I need a passport to go over to England.
Oh, are you?
If I go on the boat, I don't think. If I have ID, do I need a passport?
Right, JFO's just said Matt's doing a panel. So if it's live and we can stream it, JFO. But if it's not, we'll probably just like do what Noel says and see if fan footage comes out or articles about what he said.
I thought Irish can come and go as they please on the island. Not anymore. Not anymore. See, Brexit has screwed up stuff though. You know, because I do remember back in the day now. But I was a kid that you could jump on a ferry from Dublin Port and go over to Wales, Powelly, because that's where we went. But not anymore. You don't need ID either, LOL. You don't need a passport to get on a ferry, says Real Super Doctor. I will if I'm at the bar. I mean, it's not as if I'm on the fucking Titanic. In fairness, though, she is right. I fucking am terrified of... Listen, I would get on a plane quicker. I've been on a plane twice, obviously, when I went on holiday, flew over and then flew back. So I've been on a plane, and I was nervous on the plane. I have a fear of heights, but I'd rather die in a plane crash than sink on a fucking ferry. And that's me fear. I fucking hate the ocean.
It's because you've watched Titanic one too many times.
I've watched a lot of fucking disaster movies with
Exactly.
ships. That's what the problem is. It's a cold trip that'll take you to London. Well, we'll see, because I don't have the money. It's not as if I'm flush.
Expensive.
I'm not
It would
flush
be
with
expensive.
cash, and to buy a ticket for London and to get the full experience, so we could have the full experience and not do the whole not do it shabbily. It's gonna cost. It's gonna cost, and right now, me and Cheryl can't even afford a fucking pizza, let alone fucking tickets.
But that's the thing, that especially if they do announce, let's say, obviously we don't know, but let's say they do announce Matt, like that's going to be everywhere. So
Yeah,
we'll know.
Look, at some stage it will happen, because all channels end up going, and it will happen eventually. But we have to be financially secure right now, because the Irish government is screwing us over big time over here. I don't want to get into it, but like, electric has gone up, and fucking, I mean, she only bought electric and it's nearly gone now. I mean, it's taken all the electric. I've even got the lights off. I'm talking to you in the dark right now. The only bit of light that I have here is the light off me mic. I'm literally sitting in the dark to save electric. I have to reboot my laptop, is glitching. Be right back. No rail service here. I have been to Belfast. It's not the trip, it's the Comic-Con that would cost. Yeah, and that's what I mean.
Yeah.
I mean, a ticket to London Comic-Con, I mean, the basic price is probably about 90 quid or something. So if you were to get the full package to get the full experience, because I mean, if you were going over, that's the way you'd have to do it. That's why these big YouTubers save up money and they go, because they do the whole experience full out. So there you go. So there it is there. So we'll just have a look. Let's just see what they're charging. There's the ticket prices there. So 3-day ticket. So if we were going, we'd have to go for that's what I'm saying. It wouldn't be just a day. You'd have to go for the 3 days. Right? Because there'd be other people. I mean, Jerry Ryan's there. Andy Serkis is there. And Katie Sackhoff. Oh, Robert Englund is there. David man, I shouldn't have looked at this. I'm actually sad.
You really shouldn't have.
I'm actually sad. I would, man. Buy tickets. Right, here we go. Buy tickets. So I'll click into the buy ticket, right? So say if I was to get one just for me and Cheryl didn't go for 3 days, right? And by the way, this is without buying any merch or buying any photographs and stuff.
Getting anything
or
with
autographs, unless it's in the package that I want. So let me see. If I was to buy a ticket for all 3, how much would it cost me? 3 days. So sales. Ah, sure, we can't even go. The sale has ended. The tickets are sold out.
Oh yeah, they would have been sold out by now.
So your 3-day ticket will be in the shop on Friday. So anybody that bought will get their 3-day ticket this Friday. So it starts at 9 a.m. and I think ticket, it says 19 quid there, but I don't think that's 19 quid for that. I think it says starts at 19. Yeah, so it starts at, so ticket prices start at £19.
Yeah, so that could be like a day.
So that's a day, right? So for 3 days, that's what, 36, 40, 3 nines is 40. Wow. No, I'm wrong, actually. Not 40 something. 9, 18, 20. I used to be great at maths. That's 22, 24.
I can't help you. I can't do maths.
So there you go. For Saturday, November, it's £191. Then you have the London Brick Festival that's in the same place. They're charging 21 quid for that. So that's what I said. I did say that. You're obviously not listening. So 191, but that's without even paying the 75 quid that some would want for a photograph and an autograph. Or if you get a combined package, then it's even more expensive. So for me to do that for the 3 days, you're probably looking at around 1,500 quid to have the best experience and to be able to get the autographs and stuff like that. And that's including hotel and all of that other nonsense. So you're looking at about 1,500 quid. I don't have it. If I had 1,500 quid, trust me, I wouldn't be here. I'd be with my wife in Amsterdam. That's where we'd be going with our 1,500 fucking quid. So yeah, that's the thing. So look, as I said, look, if this channel ever does, or if it stays like this, we'll just have to save up and maybe, start a campaign, see if people be willing to send me over there to do this, like some other YouTubers do when they already have enough money as it is, but they ask people to pay for their trips. That actually pisses me off. The big YouTubers, like, they make thousands a day, and then they're literally putting up a GoFundMe. Oh, send me to Vegas. Well, you've got enough money to go to Vegas yourself. Use your own fucking money. Anyway.
But it's easier to ask for other people, isn't it?
It is. But look, we will, I think we covered everything. I don't think there's anything else. But as I said, for people out there saying Doctor Who is dead, 54,000 tweets on Twitter today. Doctor Who ain't dead. You can keep saying it's dead. I thought it was dead, but it ain't. This era is dead, but the RTD era is not. The hype for RTD era is there. And to deny it is a little bit silly at this stage, to be quite honest with you. It's silly. Whether you like it or not, this show has a knack of rising from the ashes. And I thought it was game over. But RTD's announcement has had a bigger impact than people realise. And when David Tennant and Catherine Tate returned, that was just the icing on the cake. And that to me showed that this fandom and Doctor Who is still alive and kicking. And that's the reality. But we're going to leave it there. I will get Charlotte to do our shout outs. Do a GoFundMe for the channel as well, and go live streaming over there. As I said, it's a bit early. The tickets are sold out for it now, so there'll be no point. If that was going to happen, it'd probably be for next year's Comic-Con. So we'll see when we get to. We'll see what happens, right? As I said, it's me, guys. I'm not really a fan of saying to you, here's a GoFundMe, fund me to go to. It's not the way I'm built. But anyway, we'll leave it there. Charlotte, obviously, thank you for coming on, first of all, and Cinnamon, that came on earlier. But obviously, let everybody know what you have coming up this week.
Yeah, so Type 40, we are now back live. We have been for a couple of weeks, and we'll probably be talking about a lot of the current news that's sort of floating around. And check out Daniel's channel because he's doing some just uploads where it's just him talking about quite a range of stuff. So check out Daniel's uploads. And on Wednesday, we should be on Kill the Moon. So you'll see me then on this channel.
Oh, she reminded me. That's tomorrow, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, I've got me two watch alongs tomorrow. So we have our member stream, which is great. Actually, no, hold on. Tomorrow, what am I doing for the member stream tomorrow? What was the next episode after World War III?
Oh God.
It was.
Was
No.
it Empty Child? Next? Two-parter?
Is it the Empty Child next? Well, then, yeah, I'm actually on for a good one
I
tomorrow.
don't
Oh,
know,
that's
but
what I did say. I said I have a good episode and a crap episode coming up tomorrow. So, yeah.
it's The Caretaker, not Kill the Moon. Sorry. It's Caretaker, Peter Capaldi tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, it's The Caretaker. Yeah, even worse. Anyway, we'll have The Caretaker tomorrow. So come and join us for that. That'll be 7 because I'll be doing the other stream at 6 and I don't stay on that long. I just literally talk through the episode, the RTD one, and I just give me a review because I do a lot of talking during the episode. So I don't need to give a breakdown review because I do it during the episode. And then at 7, we've got... No, I already did The Unquiet Dead. We did Aliens of London and World War III, so it's the Dalek next. It's Dalek. Thank you, Daniel. Then. So I've got a great episode and a crap episode tomorrow to watch, but the rest of you all have a crap one. Unless you're a member, you'll be able to watch the RTD one. Now, remember, if you're... Because members, there's a couple of members in the chat. Don't forget, 6 p.m. every Wednesday now. I'm not doing a Tuesday and Wednesday. It's a bit stupid doing one on Tuesday and then doing one. It's better off doing them on the same day. So every Wednesday from 6 o'clock, RTD on member stream. 7 o'clock here then for everybody else. We're on the Peter Capaldi era. So you've got our time now. So write it down on your calendar. Every Wednesday, 6 p.m. UK time, we do the RTD watch-alongs because there's a lot of members and some of you are not even coming in. So come in, say hello. You know, we had Cinnamon and actually Lee in the last one, which was great to see so many comments because even when Lee is writing, he can't shut up. But it was great. It was great. He was actually talking about the episode and stuff like that. So don't be shy, you're members, you know, you pay for these streams. Come in, say hello to me, you know, give your opinion on episodes. And we will have our next slate of guests coming up. Hopefully by the end of the week I will have one lined up for you. I just have to double check with them now and see if it's gonna go ahead. If not, I'll go to the next guest and then bring that guest back, if you know what I mean. Bring them back another time. But I'm organizing the next lot of guests that we have on. So come and join me. If you're not in work, as someone says, I'm not in work, but come and join me 6 o'clock from 6 o'clock tomorrow. So we will leave it there. So thank you for joining us. Let us know in the comment section what you thought of anything that we spoke about tonight. It's been a while since we've done a 3.5 hour stream.
Yeah,
but in a way, I'm kind of glad, you know. People out there might be moaning about it, but, you know, that's what we do on the TARDIS Zone. That's what we do. So, yeah. So join me tomorrow and the gang, and we'll be reviewing. And I'm pretty sure there'll be more Doctor Who stuff to talk about because, you know, it's getting pretty exciting now. And I'm pretty sure I'll be back with another stream tomorrow as well. Trust me, I've got a funny feeling. I got a feeling. Leave it there. Right, good night. Before I get given out to... I'm going off now to cook a roast chicken at 9:30 in the night. There you go. Yeah.
Good night, everybody.
Good night. See you later. Have a good one. Look after yourself. Enjoy your week. And stay safe. Bye.